Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto hates Fem Sasuke part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. If it weren't for me being named Hokage and the relationships that he has with the other Kage, you would have been locked up for a long time. Regardless, I expect you to behave out there. The words held an underlying threat, and it wasn't because he was sure of his own skills against his wayward student. No, there was only one person who could stop her if it came down to it. Yeah. Thanks, Kakashi. Kakashi sighed at the lack of respect she continued to show him. Ever since she was young, she never addressed him as sensei or as a superior. He felt a gentle pat on his back and lazily inclined his head towards his more respectful student. She'll be alright, Hokage-sama. Sakura paused to giggle at Kakashi's deadpan stare. Understood, Sasuke-chan? Her giggles only continued when she noticed the subtle twitch of her teammate's eyebrow. She hated the attached suffix to her name but didn't speak up. I hope so. Kakashi looked the girl over quickly. Her traveling cloak practically concealed her whole form, and her dark bangs covered an eye that held unfathomable power. Her face hardly revealed any emotions, although it was a far better look for her than borderline insanity or despair that Kakashi had seen on it in the past. I'm leaving. Sasuke turned her head to stare at the forested area outside of the village. Sakura hummed to herself before stepping forward with her hands clasped behind her back. You suck at goodbyes. You always did. Tsunade's student admonished her with a big smile. You're not even going to wait for. No. Sakura giggled again. Uchiha Sasuke hated giggling, especially Sakura's. She narrowed her uncovered obsidian eye at her amused teammate. Ever since they were young, the girl looked up to her to an obsessive degree. However, that changed after certain circumstances, and now Sakura made it her personal mission to mess with the Uchiha. Sakura stopped her laughter as she put on a serious face. What about? She motioned to the left side of Sasuke's body and frowned. I don't want it. Her tone was clipped. Sakura was reminded once more of Sasuke's unique voice. It wasn't very girly, but it certainly wasn't manly. The operation doesn't take much time. He's getting used to it so quickly too. Sakura attempted to persuade her. That's not why I don't want the arm. She didn't want to explain her reasoning to Sakura at the moment. But Naruto is here. A figure dropped down in between the three shinobi loudly. He rose from his crouched position and aimed a bright pearly white grin at everyone. Blue eyes sparkled happily as he saw his team. His family. Gotta admit, not your best entrance. Kakashi smiled under his mask at Naruto's deflated look. I didn't have much time to prepare, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto scratched at his newly shortened spiky hair. Jiraiya-sama was a master of entrances, you better work on it. Kakashi reminded him of his deceased teacher's eccentric personality. You're right. I hate to admit it, but he had some good entrances. Even if he always announced he was a pervert. Seriously, wouldn't you want to keep that a secret? It was a power move. It was dumb. No. See, what he was doing was. Sakura squinted her eyes in annoyance at the conversation going down between the Hokage and her best friend. As she marched over to Naruto, she had to reach up to grab his dark long-sleeved shirt. She admired his new appearance for a moment, and his growth spurt did wonders for him. You both can argue about power moves later. Sasuke is attempting to leave with such a crappy goodbye. Sakura watched Naruto blink at her for a moment before his face turned comically angry. She sucks at goodbyes. I know. Due to his entrance and commotion, nobody noticed the Uchiha sneaking away. Sasuke's footsteps became hurried as she heard Naruto's loud voice. Just a little farther and I can use my Rinnegan. Beneath her long bangs, the purple tomo-filled eye widened. What kind of teammate are you? Sasuke froze when two strong arms wrapped around her torso tightly. 2 arms. Her eyes glanced down and saw the white bandage attached to Naruto's right arm. The arm she took from him. She tried to squash down her feelings of regret before stating her demand. Release me. Her Sharingan spun into existence. Now. Her captor became quiet before letting out a loud laugh. Nope. With one word, Naruto lifted her and held her close to him before walking back over to his team. Sasuke tried struggling in his grip, but something stopped her. It wasn't his psychical strength. No, it was something else. The reason she didn't want to see him before leaving. Uchiha retrieval mission is a success. Again, Naruto gave a mock report as he presented Sasuke to the pair of shinobi. Good job, Genin Uzumaki. Kakashi shot him a cheeky thumbs up and Naruto pouted. Sasuke smirked at the reminder. Genin Uchiha has been brought back safely. Imagine being a Genin. Sakura couldn't help herself as she teased the pair. She missed this. She missed her team being complete. Even if one was leaving again. At least she had Naruto. Annoying. Now it was Sakura's turn to pout as Sasuke insulted her. That specific word always affected Sakura. Alright, enough joking around. Kakashi stepped up to them. Naruto, we were saying our goodbyes to Sasuke for the time being. The former Sharingan bearer observed how Naruto released the girl, but she remained close to him. That's exactly why I'm here. Naruto paused for dramatic effect, and Sasuke stared up at him with feigned disinterest. I'm going with her. That stunned the entire group, even Kakashi. What? Excuse me? Who gave you clearance for that? Kakashi knew it wasn't him. Well, since I'm studying political discourse and relations between the villages, one grumpy old lady told me the best way to learn is to see other Kage in action as well. Naruto explained with a carefree grin. He mentally patted himself on the back for the use of the word discourse. Tsunade Kakashi should have expected this. She may care for the village once more due to Naruto, but she enjoyed wandering around in her free time. Actually, she had too much free time in the past. You got it! Naruto threw an arm around Sasuke's shoulder. The shorter girl tensed and pushed his arm away. This is my own journey, Naruto. You have nothing to do with my sins, so don't get involved and stay away. That was the most anyone's heard her speak all day, and Naruto narrowed his gaze at her. There you go again with all this talk about doing things on your own. That's because this is for me. She finally rose her voice. Oh yeah? You're just going to walk around with no goal. I'm going to atone for my sins. Where exactly? You think every village is going to welcome you with open arms and hugs? Naruto questioned her. Sasuke grit her teeth and glared at him. Sasuke, if I'm with you, we can travel around and visit everyone. You can help people. He tried to reason with her. I never said I was going to help people. How else will you atone for your sins? I'm shocked you even know what that word means, idiot. Kakashi watched and compared them to a very dysfunctional couple arguing. There's definitely some sexual tension here. He thought to himself. Break it up, you two. Seriously, people are staring. Sakura got between the two and placed her hands on their chests to push them back. Onlookers stared at the odd scene taking place at the entrance to the village. Remove your hand from my chest. Sakura pulled her hand away from Sasuke at the speed of the yellow flash. You can keep your hand on mine, Sakura-chan. Naruto told the pink-haired medic he once had a crush on. Remove your hand from the idiot. Sasuke demanded once again. Jealous? Naruto questioned her with a small smirk. No. I need a spot to run my Chidori through. Again? Okay, my little shinobi, I'll sort this out right now. Kakashi intervened for what was hopefully the final time. They are extremely dysfunctional. You already told me I can leave the village, Kakashi. Alone. Sasuke was obviously annoyed. Yes, I did. I understand that you're doing this to better yourself and to take care of any outside threats. Naruto is right though, the other villages aren't going to be keen on letting you enter due to your past actions. His presence would change that. I don't imagine roaming the elemental nations aimlessly will really help you change anything in the end. Finished with Sasuke, Kakashi turned to the blonde-whiskered shinobi. Naruto, Tsunade may have given you this idea, but you should have come to me first. You are by far the strongest shinobi in the village, and not having you here is a risk. The war is over though, Kakashi-sensei. There isn't any more conflict. Naruto, ever the optimist, responded. I know you're not that naive, Naruto, and that's only true for now. Conflict can always rise up again. This time of peace and you gaining experience are the only reasons I'll allow this. Not to mention, you'll both be leaving Sakura behind. Sakura-chan can come with us too. Naruto told him immediately. Sasuke's hand clenched under her cloak. She did not want that. She is the new head of the hospital, she can't leave because of her duties. Kakashi shot that down quickly. Sakura nodded sadly in agreement. I took over for Tsunade-sama and Shizen-san. I can't leave. The poor girl did want to spend more time with her teammates though. Her eyes widened when Naruto's arms wrapped around her and pulled her close. Sakura-chan, I can sneak you out of the village if you really want to come. Naruto whispered in her ear with a chuckle. Sakura hit him playfully on the chest before rolling her eyes. He was such a moron, but she loved him for it. It's alright, dummy. It does bother me that you're both leaving after our team finally reunited, but at least you'll be with her. To keep her under control, you know? She pulled back from the hug and placed herself next to Kakashi. I heard that. I don't need to be under your control, Naruto, Sasuke snidely remarked. She didn't mean it like that. How did she mean it? Since you know Sakura so well. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? Okay. You're both leaving now. Have a nice trip. Kakashi roughly pushed the two towards the large village gates before they could start another verbal fight. I still don't want him to come with me. This is my journey. Sasuke tried arguing with the Hokage. Hold on to that thought for just a second. Kakashi successfully pushed them outside of the village gates as they turned to him. To their surprise, the Kakashi that was pushing them exploded into smoke. Naruto instantly recognized the technique. Akage Bunshin? Naruto wondered aloud. Be safe, my cute little students. Use protection. We love you! Kakashi yelled as he and Sakura waved. The mighty gates of Konoha shut with a loud slam. Naruto stared with disbelief at the action of his teacher-turned-Hokage. Sure, he can easily get over the massive gate, but the fact that he shut it on them shocked him. Kakashi-sensei. You bastard! What the hell do you mean about protection anyway? Naruto yelled at the silent gate. Bristling in annoyance, he called out to his teammate. Can you believe it, Sasuke? There was no response. Sasuke? He whipped around in an instant, and saw the cloaked form of Sasuke rushing ahead. Hey! The last Uchiha moved even faster. I spy, with my little eye, something blue. I'm not playing. I already told you that. I'm not even talking to you. Mind your business. Sasuke threw a dry look at the one person who understood her the most. He was also the one who annoyed her the most. What? Do you have an imaginary friend? She tried to taunt him. No. He nudged her roughly with his arm, almost throwing off her balance. She was still getting used to missing an arm. For your information, I have the world's best partner inside me. Naruto slammed an open palm onto his stomach. Flattery doesn't mean I want to continue playing this childish game. His lifetime partner commented from inside the seal on his navel. Kurama, come on. Sasuke is in a bad mood, so I'm dying for some conversation here. Naruto pleaded with the Kyuubi. The Uchiha girl is always in a bad mood. Since the day you met her, she's been like this. TCH, I'll never understand why you're attracted to her. Attracted to her? Naruto blinked rapidly to quite literally get out of his own head before glancing at his best friend turned traitor turned best friend again. What are you looking at, loser? She rose a delicate eyebrow at his pointed stare. I spy with my little eye, something small and filled with angst. Naruto's cheeky smile set her off. Once more, I'm shocked you know what a word like angst means. Did they finally let you have a dictionary? She smirked as his smile deflated. Yeah, well, at least I'm not short like you. Look how tiny you are. I'd feel pity if you were still shorter than me. Don't forget that you were the shortest in our class. Everyone grows differently, asshole. Within the seal, Kurama placed its head down into the murky ankle-deep water below. Their bickering was something the tailed beast would need to get used to, which was probably impossible. Kurama would never approve of Naruto's attraction towards an Uchiha of all things. The Uchiha clan weren't even worth eating in the Kyuubi's opinion. Kurama reluctantly focused back on the outside world to hear the nonsense being spewed by the pair. And Iruka-sensei said girls might not even develop in some areas. I mean, you definitely. Finish that sentence, and you'll lose that arm again. No one has ever gotten under her skin like Uzumaki Naruto. I won't even let you get the chance. I'll kick your tiny ass all over the elemental nations. Sasuke's hand twitched. The sound of chirping birds filled the empty road leading away from Konoha. Oh my, this is a welcome surprise. 2 of my favorite shinobi came to visit me, how thoughtful. A voice that Naruto still didn't enjoy hearing spoke from its position at a large desk. You look very dashing with the new hairstyle, Naruto-kun. Really? You'd be surprised how many people don't even comment on it. I wanted to go for something different, you know? Hey, wait a minute, I still don't like you, Orochimaru. Naruto grin disappeared in an instant when he remembered the actions that this man, woman, snake person took against the village and the Sandaime Hokage. Seriously, it was hard to know what Orochimaru identified as nowadays. That's a shame. You are the one responsible for changing the direction of Sasuke-chan's wind. My curiosity when it comes to your special abilities are endless. Orochimaru stood up and approached the duo. His general appearance didn't look too different from usual, but something was off. Her wind? She can use wind? Orochimaru. Sasuke cut in. Naruto was a fool. I require some information. Her tone was rougher than usual. She hated dealing with Orochimaru. My Sasuke-chan is as cold as ever. I'm surprised you even came to visit. With Yamato watching my every movement, I didn't expect any Konoha residents around here. I told you not to talk about her like she's yours, Orochimaru. Naruto glared at the traitor with disgust. Orochimaru chuckled before placing his hands up in a placating manner. Of course, Naruto-kun, how can I ever forget that she belongs to you? You've made that abundantly clear in the past. The snake user took some strange joy in seeing the small blushes on their faces. That's not what I meant. Naruto rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment. Orochimaru, I need whatever intel you have pertaining to villages all over the elemental nations. I know you keep records on their potential weaknesses and ongoing issues. Sasuke practically demanded. Her Sharingan flashed at her former master. She was glad Naruto didn't notice the slight flush of her cheeks. What do you intend to do with this information? Sabotage? Systematic destruction? The possibilities are endless for someone as strong as you. Orochimaru's lips twitched upwards at the angered look Naruto sent his way. No. Not even close. I didn't even want to come to you for this, but I followed Sasuke. We are going to use this information to help people. Naruto explained quickly, disgusted at the idea of harming other villages and innocent people. Help people? Orochimaru looked at the Uchiha girl incredulously. Forgive me, is this one of Naruto-kun's jokes? He questioned the girl. Orochimaru dash. No. That's what we plan to do. Sasuke struggled to stress the we in that statement. May I ask why? His yellow eyes sought for answers on the Uchiha's blank face. Sasuke is on a journey of atonement. It's not something you'd understand, Orochimaru. Naruto managed to sneak an insult in there towards the snake summoner. I suppose you're right. Orochimaru kept his gaze on Sasuke. Her poker face didn't flinch or change. Well, if it's for such a noble cause, I can't deny you. I have to admit, I'm curious as to where this atonement will take you. So am I, she muttered under her breath. Naruto threw an arm over her shoulder and pulled her close. Sasuke, who was still not used to that kind of physical contact, tensed slightly in his grip. It feels good to help people, you'll see, Sasuke. He gave her his signature closed-eye grin, one that made her avert her eyes. She couldn't stand him. He made her heart flutter. Orochimaru watched with a hidden look of appraisal. He knew of their history. Friends turned to bitter rivals and then into true enemies for a brief time. Whatever amount of hostility existed in the past when Sasuke heard about Naruto was all but gone now. They understood each other on a level that few could relate to. He didn't necessarily care for the sappy connotations of their relationship. He was a scientist after all, and a damn good one. His glee for potentially witnessing a child born from the union of these two powerhouses was unrivaled. The sun and moon coming together was rare after all. We have to go visit Gaara first. He'd definitely want to see us. This is my journey. I need the experience and Gaara is a Kage. I don't care about your Kage experience. My journey comes first, loser. Big words from a tiny girl like you. The room sparked with electricity. Orochimaru only continued to smile. He couldn't wait for them to officially get together. For science. Sasuke hated sand. It was rough, coarse, irritating, and it managed to get everywhere. Her eyes glared ahead at the sandy dunes that led to Sunagakure. Phew. I forgot just how hot it gets around here. Naruto spoke from her side. Sasuke resisted the urge to roll her special Uchiha eyes at such a dumb comment. It was the desert. What the hell did he expect? You doing okay? How are you not dying from the heat with that long cloak covering you? He questioned her heavy attire. I'm used to the heat because... You're an Uchiha. Yeah, I heard that one a bunch of times. Humph. She fumed very quietly at him, interrupting her small spiel. Old habits die hard after all. Placing his hands behind his head, Naruto strolled through the endless sand with little issue aside from the sun beating down on their forms. He looked at Sasuke from the corner of his eye. Something bugged him about her recent outfit change. After she defected from the village and he met up with her years later in a failed attempt to bring her home, The one thing that always managed to catch his attention was her outfit. For perfectly innocent reasons, of course. This older Sasuke was a lot more covered up. "You're not subtle at all, idiot." Naruto almost jumped at her voice. It effectively stopped him from thinking about his best friend in more revealing clothes. "Disgusting." "Shut up, Kurama." Naruto spoke aloud. The tailed beast snorted in response. "Ah. Arguing with the voice inside your head again." Sasuke let a smirk pull at her lips. Going back and forth with Naruto was as easy as breathing to her. "Tell the Uchiha vermin that I hate her." "Kurama says hello?" Sasuke's eyebrows rose slightly in surprise. She knew for a fact that the Kyuubi did not like her, and for good reason. "Tell her what I really said. Oh, and while you're at it, tell her about how you're thinking about her phase of wearing those open shirts." "I am not thinking about her chest." Luckily, he spoke through their internal connection. "I never mentioned her chest." Kurama's retort made Naruto's cheeks light up. What did the Kyuubi say now? Sasuke immediately noticed the red tint on his face. It wasn't from the heat, as she would have noticed that before. Not that she was staring at his face intently, she was just observing the environment. "Nothing. Nothing at all." Naruto's smile was strained, and if she were Sakura or Kakashi, she may have been fooled. "You don't see into someone's heart and memories without picking up on their poor ability to lie." Sasuke knew Naruto more than anybody else. "You're lying. I can just go ask the Kyuubi myself." Her Sharingan activated and Naruto closed his eyes tightly. Hey, that's totally not fair. I don't even know how you're able to get into my seal." "Nothing is impossible for the Uchiha." "Yeah, I've heard that one too." The mockery continued. She grabbed his arm, stopping him in the sandy tracks. "Look into my eyes. Now." "No." "Do it." She squeezed his arm with a chakra-enhanced hand. "Keep your freaky Uchiha eyes away from me." Naruto slipped out of her grip and quickened his pace towards the village led by one of his closest friends. "My eyes are not freaky." "Your brother shoved a damn crow down my throat using those eyes. That is freaky to me." Naruto channeled his own chakra to his legs and took off in a sprint. Sasuke stood dumbfounded at the mention of Itachi. "He did what with a crow?" She did not remember that from Naruto's memories at all. Why was her brother putting a crow down her idiot's throat? "Naruto, get back here!" Sasuke allowed her emotions to get the better of her as she chased after the boy. Naruto activated his Kurama chakra mode as he felt the familiar Susanoo form behind him. Tsunagekyou's Kazekage stood from his desk with wide eyes. His ability to sense chakra was not one that he took pride in, but the insane amount he felt approaching his home could be felt by pretty much any shinobi. It could also be summed up in 2 words. Uzumaki Naruto. A smile came to Gaara's face as he realized who was stopping by for a visit. It's been some time since he's seen his friend and future fellow Kage. It only took a few seconds for his office door to swing open as his siblings barged in. "Gaara, tell me you feel that?" Kankuro asked him quickly. Temari stood to the side with a thoughtful expression. Gaara had a feeling she understood who was closing in on Suna. "Yes, I did. I believe we are going to have a visitor in our village. Will you two join me at the entrance?" They nodded easily at the request. Sometimes his siblings still marveled at the change in Gaara after one specific individual connected with him. Someone they owed a lot to for fixing their family. "It's him, right, Gaara?" Temari questioned with a small chuckle. Nobody else could throw around that much chakra, and if it was an enemy they wouldn't foolishly reveal their location like that. "Of course. Maybe he intends to show off that new arm of his." Gaara motioned towards his siblings to follow him. Kankuro scoffed at his brother's words, but not because he felt he was wrong. He wouldn't have to do that if the Uchiha didn't decide to throw his friendship back in his face and fight him. The puppet user cared little for the member of the cursed clan. "Naruto and Sasuke have a complex relationship," Temari explained to her judgmental brother, although she couldn't fault him for thinking the way he does. She had her own opinion on those two. "Oh yeah? How do you know?" Smirking at his sister, Temari refused to show embarrassment in front of her family. "I visit Konohagakure a lot." "Shikamaru must keep you busy, huh?" Kankuro snickered at her. "I'm sure your hand must work for you, Kankuro." Gaara continued to smile as he heard his brother's indignant shout. He wouldn't trade the strong bonds he had now with his family for anything. Less than 5 minutes passed as they reached the entrance to the sand-filled village. Gaara squinted his eyes as a golden figure raced towards his location. Gaara! The chakra cloak that blazed brighter than the sun called out to the Kazekage. Right before Naruto in all his glory could blitz towards his once-upon-a-time fellow Jinchuriki, a gigantic shadow dropped down onto him carelessly. Gaara ignored Kankuro's quick warning to prepare for a battle. Uchiha Sasuke practically straddled the hero of the elemental nations, and some can argue the scene could be considered weirdly romantic. If it weren't for the titanic armored warrior pressing its weight down onto Naruto while Sasuke glared at him from within. I told you not to run, Sasuke told him darkly. Temari and Kankuro felt a shiver run down their spines from her voice. Using your Rinnegan is cheating. You can literally switch places with sand. That is so bullshit. Naruto complained from his position under the Susanoo. Large golden chakra arms held the construct of the Uchiha clan from crushing him, and everyone could see that he was barely struggling. That's precisely why Gaara wasn't worried. He was well aware that these two were playing around, as Naruto and Sasuke were now connected for life. What the fuck are they? Kankuro watched with a bewildered expression. I told you. Temari shrugged as the Uzumaki and Uchiha bickered like children while using some of the strongest techniques in the world. They have a complex relationship. Complex was an understatement to Kankuro. So you want to watch over my day-to-day operations? Gaara questioned the one who shared his pain. If that's okay with you. I do need the experience when it comes to being in an office and managing things. I was never really good at that kind of stuff. Naruto sheepishly rubbed the back of his head. A small smirk appeared on Sasuke's face as she thought of an insult to use against him. She had to hold in a small yelp when Naruto pinched her roughly on the back. Her Sharingan-enhanced glare was venomous when she turned to him, and two of the Sand siblings wondered if she'd use those unyielding black flames on the boy. Fortunately, Gaara spoke before another fight could break out. I'm sure I can spare a few days to assist my friend. Gaara noticed the way Naruto immediately brightened up. Now, why has Sasuke accompanied you? He addressed the former rogue. Naruto nudged her to speak for herself, and the girl locked eyes with the Kazekage. The sane Kage she would have had no qualms with killing if it weren't for Naruto. I want to help out within the village. If the Uchiha clan weren't experts when it came to putting on a poker face, Sasuke would look like she just ate the most bitter-tasting fruit in the world. Ha! Kankuro laughed mockingly. The puppet user expected more laughter to join him, but instead he felt the judging stares descend on him. Temari studied Sasuke closely, trying to make sense of her words. Elaborate. Gaara needed to understand the situation a bit better too, even if he already put two and two together. Naruto truly changed her. Just as he did for various others. What a terrifying power. Sasuke sighed to herself, and was glad Naruto's warm presence stood close to her. Opening up about her intentions to anyone but him was not an easy task, nor was it one she wanted to do. She kept those thoughts to herself, as she always did. Gaara. I've made mistakes and now I plan to correct them. I wanted to do this my own way, but Naruto forced himself into it. She mentally added that Naruto's forced his way into her life on many occasions. All to help save her from herself. He has a strange ability, does he not? Gaara didn't break eye contact with the Uchiha, even as he spoke about Naruto. Kurama's host scrunched up his face in confusion. When that light is nearby, darkness stands no chance. His words were directed at the girl who he felt he shared a bond with, although she didn't feel the same. She only wanted a bond with one person. You're right. Her reply was delivered softly, and Naruto's eyes shifted over to her. Very well. You may stay here and help the populace while Naruto studies. That earned a loud groan from the whiskered shinobi. Temari should be able to point you in the direction of such things. I must give you a fair warning though. Gaara locked his fingers in front of his face, looking so much like an experienced Kage in that moment. There are many who have heard of your deeds despite helping in the war, and not all will take kindly to your presence. He felt it was extremely important to mention. Before Naruto could defend Sasuke to any degree, she sent him a hidden look that shut him up. I understand. Her blank face betrayed nothing. Good. Now before we get started on anything Naruto, how is that new appendage treating you? Gaara was very curious about the arm created using cells from the Shodaime Hokage. Oh. It's great actually. Flexing his new arm, he presented it to the group and let his chakra leak out. A controlled sphere of chakra appeared and Naruto wisely chose not to go overboard and mess up the organized office. I'm still getting used to the bandages being there, but using my chakra is like second nature. Sasuke felt her heart tighten as she laid eyes on the artificial arm. I am happy for you, my friend. Gaara sent a pointed look at his brother, who was no doubt prepared to blame Sasuke for something. Now was not the time nor the place. Thanks. Kurama wanted me to tell you that you look like less of a brat now. Naruto paused and hummed to himself. That's a compliment, by the way. The red-haired Kage chuckled at the words from the beast. That means a lot. It's decided then, you both will be staying in the Kazekage estate with me. Standing from his desk, Gaara nodded to Temari, who moved closer to Sasuke. Naruto, let us begin immediately. We need to make you Hokage quickly so we can share that drink, yes? Gaara reminded him of their promise during the war. Naruto gave him a cheesy thumbs up. Let's do this. Sasuke didn't think much of the wind user when she approached her. She's never cared for many people, and Temari was no exception. The sister of the Kage certainly wasn't thrilled at being with her either. Uchiha-san, I believe the orphanage was in need of help after a request came through this morning. Would you like to accompany me to settle the issues? Temari wasn't very keen on being friendly, so she stuck with a more formal way of speaking. She still remembered how the girl attacked the 5 Kage summit while hell-bent on revenge. The look of madness on her face was hard to forget. That's fine, Sasuke answered dryly. This way of atonement was different from what she had in mind originally. Stupid Naruto. Speaking of the hero, she saw him smile at her, almost as if he was proud. Walking out of the office, Temari turned to the previous Avenger and said one final thing. He's done so much for my family. You better not hurt him. Sasuke felt that she should have laughed in the girl's face. A pathetic Suna shinobi threatened her? That was ridiculous. Although, that feeling of superiority disappeared quickly. It's too late anyway. I've already hurt him plenty of times. Naruto groaned and rubbed his aching wrist as he walked down the mellow streets of Sunagakure. Night was approaching and Gaara really stuck by his word of getting him ready for Kage duties. Ugh, did he really have to make me practice signing my name so many times? My damn hand hurts. At least your penmanship doesn't look like a brainless monkey started writing on paper anymore. Like you can do any better. Naruto huffed as he passed villagers who were heading home before the cold desert winds blew in. I am a mass of chakra. Writing is worthless for me. Whatever. Naruto kicked at the sand by his feet as he walked. Spare some chakra to soothe my wrists, will ya? Kurama yawned at the request. Don't be such a baby. Pain builds character, you know this more than anyone. Naruto pouted at being denied. You're one strict bastard, you know? He couldn't see it, but he knew Kurama was proud of that description. One female Madara approaching. Naruto deadpanned at the warning before seeing his teammate walking towards him slowly. Raising his bandaged hand, he waved at her. Sasuke's face looked more emotionless than usual, which concerned him. Yo! How was helping Temari at the orphanage? He hoped she was able to do some good there. Fine. Her answer was practically robotic. Naruto's face dropped. Sasuke. Naruto, I said it was fine. She walked past him without another word. She would have gotten away too, if she was dealing with somebody that wasn't named Uzumaki Naruto. Don't try to do everything on your own. Don't try to hide your problems. Naruto echoed the words to her that he shared when they were laying half dead in the middle of a broken valley. Anger began to fill Sasuke, none of it directed at Naruto. No, her anger had a different target. Herself. Did Temari say something? Did she try to attack you? Naruto placed himself in her personal space. He grabbed her shoulders gently. His serious face invoked feelings in her that she would prefer to keep hidden. She did not even correct him on even suggesting she could be harmed by Temari. No, it wasn't Temari. Sasuke wanted to kick herself for revealing that there was in fact an issue. Who? The orphanage? The villagers? He was so close to her face now that could feel his breath tickling her. No. Listen, Naruto. I can't do this. She took a step back from Naruto, staring at him with hesitation. Her best friend tilted his head. You don't need to help at an orphanage. Gaara can definitely find you something different. Naruto reassured her. That's not it. Closing her eyes to calm her increasing heart rate, she spoke up. Helping others and playing nice. I'm not you, Naruto. I can't do this. My journey was to atone, but now I'm more confused than ever before. Here she goes again, opening up to her annoyingly warm idiot. A poke to her forehead almost stopped her heart. You've always been pretty stupid, you know? A lone pitch black eye met with bright blues. You've helped others before. Look at me, for example. Without you forming a bond with me all those years ago, well, I don't know where I'd be right now. So don't give up because it's new for you, never give up. Besides you're well, you know, he began rambling. A trait he inherited from his mother. I'm what? The anger towards herself started to subside, she hung on to his words like a prayer. Naruto mulled over his next words before blurting them out. Sasuke is Sasuke. He shrugged pitifully at his childish sentence. A crack appeared in her cold facial expression. Aha! I made you smile. Naruto pointed it out loudly. The streets were now clear and neither cared to notice. I'm smiling at your stupidity. The upwards pull of her lips contradicted her words. Surrey liar. Now come on, let's go grab some food and you can tell me about the orphanage thing. Oh, I have to tell you about what Gaara made me do. Can you believe I had to write my name over 200 times? 200. Naruto dragged her along the streets of Sunagakure. Sasuke let herself be pulled along, by both his hand and his words. Sasuke is Sasuke, what an idiotic thing to say. She looked up as they walked, seeing his happy face retelling the events from hours ago. Yes, Naruto would always be an idiot to Sasuke. But he was the only idiot she'd ever care about. Then Sarah threw the ball to the mean man's house, and she was so scared to get it. Not me though. I'm going to be a shinobi, and shinobi don't get scared. Long brown hair swayed as a young and very small girl proudly retold her side of the story from earlier in the day. The girl was an orphan, her parents deceased from when she was only 3 years old. Sasuke stood quietly as she listened to the excited child. Minori was her name, and she immediately latched onto Sasuke after the Uchiha volunteered to help at the orphanage. She tensed when the girl jumped towards her and wrapped her thin arms around her leg. Looking down, Sasuke waited for the girl to explain herself before she would promptly remove her. Sasu-chan. That's another thing. She's only known her for what was at most 2 days and the girl already nicknamed her. Nicknames like that were something Sasuke only accepted from 3 people, and 2 were dead. She's just a child. She reined in whatever annoyance she was feeling at dealing with such a loud child. Honestly, it reminded her of Naruto before he figured out how to be patient. Which he still was awful at in her esteemed opinion. Sasu-chan. The shrill whine from the girl forced Sasuke from her thoughts, and her mismatched eyes sought out plain brown ones that radiated happiness. What do you want now? Temari left her alone to settle a couple financial issues. The owner of the orphanage was a real piece of work, judging by the glare she aimed at Sasuke the entire time. You're a shinobi, right? You have to be since you know Temari-chan. Can you teach me something? Please. Please. Minori gripped the fabric of Sasuke's pants tightly, not wanting to let go until she got the answer she wanted. No. Unless you were blonde with dumb whisker marks, it took a fair amount of effort to get more words out of her. Minori instantly had tears come to her eyes, which happened so fast that Sasuke could swear they were faked. Please, the sad voice and defeated expression would have crushed her teammate in a heartbeat. You're too young. Her poor excuse was based on her judging Minori's appearance. Sasuke wasn't necessarily tall in her youth, but this girl barely came up to her waist. I am not. I'm going to be 7 years old. The orphan held her fingers up to Sasuke dramatically, displaying the digits of her age. All around the room, orphans watched hesitantly. The children were scared of Sasuke's presence, and she made no effort to correct that. However, Minori either didn't notice or care. Too young. It was contradictory in a way considering she bothered her late brother to train her ever since she could understand the basics of what being a shinobi was. Minori shook her head with a big pout. Nah. I want to be strong. Like she scrunched her face up cutely, and Sasuke expected many different names to come out. Almost all related to Suna Shinobi or the Kazekage. Uzumaki Naruto, the superhero, Minori declared with a gigantic grin. The second his name left her lips, the orphans all began their own conversations involving Naruto. Kazekage-sama says they are best friends. I heard he turns into a big fox. My brother says he can fly. No way. Awesome. Sasuke let her gaze sweep around the room as the children spoke about her best friend with such high praise. Either Gaara spoke of Naruto often, or Suna Shinobi spread tales of Naruto's feats in combat. A superhero, huh? A smile threatened to appear as she thought of him. That was cute. Minori tugged on her pant leg once more. Sasu-chan, are you a Suna Shinobi? You don't have a headband on, Minori pointed out, and was worried that the girl wasn't truly a shinobi. I belong to a different village. Being owned by Konoha left a sour taste in her mouth, even to this day. If it weren't for Team 7 and her brother's actions, she wouldn't have any ties to that village anymore. Oh, the orphaned girl trailed off, understanding it now. Some others moved closer as they heard of her admittance to being a shinobi. Where are you from? Brown doe eyes shined with curiosity. Sasuke internally debated with herself over continuing the conversation before sighing deeply. Konoha. If the orphans were scared before, that disappeared upon hearing the village's name. That's where he's from. The other children began to shout once more. Do you know Uzumaki Naruto? Minori stared up at her in obvious awe, expecting her to know about the hero who even Suna Shinobi sung praises for. Sasuke wasn't sure what made her speak. Years ago she would have felt the insufferable burn of inferiority over hearing about Naruto's accomplishments and strength. Now, he's my teammate and friend. All hell broke loose when all the orphans jumped into her personal space in a heartbeat. She was going to stab Naruto for this one. You know, I feel like Sasuke wants to stab me right about now. Naruto spoke as he walked with Gaara down the sandy paths of the village. It wouldn't be the first time. The response from Gaara left Naruto slack-jawed. When did you start making jokes? Naruto glared at him with no real heat. Gaara gave a small laugh before nodding respectfully at any citizens or shinobi they passed by. You're an easy target. Gaara poked fun at the now comically sad Naruto. Blah. You should show more respect to a future Kage. Naruto turned his head upwards in a fake display of being smug. You should show more respect to a current Kage. The mirth in his voice was easily picked up. Naruto gave his own joyful laugh before clasping his hand on Gaara's shoulder. You've changed so much, Gaara. It was a genuine compliment. The killing machine from the sand was no more. All that remained was a true Kazekage. Yes, I wonder why that is. Gaara shot him a knowing look. Hey now, all I had to do was knock some sense into you with my fists on my head. Naruto downplayed his impact involving Gaara's current outlook on life. Indeed, I suppose that's all you did? Now let us continue on. I'd like to check on the orphanage and Temari. Gaara told him as they picked up their pace slightly. The Kazekage decided to bring Naruto along to various establishments around his village that he visited every now and then. Being a Kage was more than sitting behind a desk and doing paperwork. Appearances and showing genuine care for the population was essential. Naruto needed more experience in how to conduct himself in these different settings. While Gaara knew his friend was second to none when it came to giving speeches and igniting fire in people, he was still his usual hyperactive self in most circumstances. Sasuke should still be there with your sister, right? Naruto questioned as they got closer to the location. I'd assume so. How is Sasuke reacting to helping in such a way? He wanted to know how the previous Avenger was doing in that regard. She's well, Sasuke. She'll get used to it, and helping others eventually. She's just so stubborn, you know? I've never met someone as stubborn as her. Naruto rambled on about his teammate. Gaara closed his eyes with his smile ever present. I think the phrase is a match made in heaven. His words only made Naruto confused. Like a match you used to start a fire? What's that gotta do with anything? Naruto's confused expression spoke volumes about how dense he was. Never mind that. We are here. Gaara gestured to the large brown building. Getting to the door, Naruto opened it dramatically for the Kage. He made an exaggerated showing with his usual Naruto flair. Upon entering they weren't greeted by anyone, showing that Temari must still be conducting her business with the owner. What they were greeted with was far different. Why are they so loud? Naruto muttered as he heard the children making so much noise. Gaara was equally as confused. The pair walked into the main room that housed the orphans while they played. Better take a mental picture of this. She's going to kill you for it. Kurama's comment was not entirely false. The avenger of the Uchiha clan sat cross-legged on the floor. Children pulled on her cloak and pants and threw out question after question. Two different colored eyes regarded them dully. She wasn't even able to get a word out with all the shouting. Naruto burst into laughter. He couldn't help himself. Sasuke, through all the loud squeaky voices, was able to make out the laugh that she became accustomed to hearing. Luckily, the children heard the laughter too and went silent as the two newcomers entered. They all became shocked at their Kage's appearance, but the tall blonde with whiskered cheeks next to him left them frozen. Is that? A small boy muttered as he slowly figured out who the person was based on previous descriptions all over the village. Uzumaki Naruto? In only a few seconds they abandoned Sasuke and bolted towards the future Hokage. Naruto couldn't even warn them to stop before they dogpiled him. Knocked onto his back, Naruto could only stare up at Gaara's amused eyes. Sasuke's smirk was displayed fully now. She felt that Naruto deserved this. She blinked when realizing something still held onto her leg. Minori? She called out to the hyper child. The girl was locked in place at the sight of Naruto. Seeing her idol in person must have sent her into shock. Sasuke was about to remove her when she spoke up. Sasu-chan? Can I meet him? Quite frankly, Sasuke was surprised that Minori didn't jump on Naruto like the other children. I guess so. Sasuke attempted to stand up before blankly looking down at her off. Now. Minori complied and stood along with the Uchiha. She still held a grip on the cloak that covered Sasuke's form. Children, please allow my friend to get up so he can properly speak with you all. Gaara's voice wasn't raised or aggressive, but it did the trick in making the children listen. Naruto mouthed a silent thank you at the red head. Getting up with little effort, Naruto straightened out his clothes before locking eyes with Sasuke. She shifted her gaze to the young child holding her tightly, and Naruto got the message. Hey! Come on over here! I don't bite, you know? Naruto's smile radiated warmth. Sasuke walked slowly to the group, which dragged Minori with her. I'm Naruto. What's your name? He wasn't purposefully ignoring the other children, he was only distracted as this one seemed to be having an issue. Minori! She yelled out with a red face. Innocent eyes searched everything on Naruto's face, particularly focusing on his whisker-like markings and smile. Nice to meet you, Minori-chan. Naruto ruffled her hair playfully. You can let go of my friend now. All of the children gasped again. Gaara simply watched the interaction play out. He wasn't upset in the least that they forgot about him. You do know Sasu-chan then? Minori slowly released Sasuke's form-covering cloak. Naruto struggled to hold in his chuckle. He caught the way Sasuke's nose twitched at the name. Yup. Sasu-chan is my teammate, and we've been friends since we were about your age. Naruto explained to the group. Moron, she mumbled under her breath. They were certainly not friends in the past. Also, Sasuke wasn't sure why that little nickname Naruto copy made her stomach flip. I'll tell you more, but for now I want to know all of your names. Every child grinned at their inclusion and rushed to shout out their name before the inevitable shinobi questions began. Sasuke watched Minori cling to Naruto now. She stared at her teammate like he was the only ray of sunshine after a rainstorm. That wasn't an inaccurate description of Naruto, at least to Sasuke. He's quite good with children, isn't he? The voice that was tinged with emotion asked Sasuke. He's always been good with them. She remembered his relationship with Konoha and his little friends. Temari once said that I need to practice my skills with handling children if I ever want to be a father. Gaara told her offhandedly. Sasuke kept quiet. Humph, Naruto as a father? He'd probably sneak his kids ramen all the time, and they'd make sure he never gets any work done. I feel bad for his future wife. She thought to herself as she watched him interact with the orphans. If I may ask, what is making you smile? Gaara questioned her, and she made a very unsuccessful attempt at changing that smile into a frown. Perhaps you're thinking of Naruto as a father? How interesting. Sasuke missed wearing her high-collared shirts in that moment. When Temari appeared with the orphanage owner in tow, they witnessed Naruto talking animatedly with the entire group of children. Observing his retelling of training and grandiose missions for a short while, the old woman who took care of the many orphaned young ones made her presence known. Only 2 taps of her withered cane on the ground alerted everyone. Every boy and girl became quiet when the woman they all respected revealed herself. Naruto paused mid-sentence as he eyed the elder. She was similar in appearance to Chiyo, the one old woman from the village who Naruto would never forget. Well, what do we have here? Kazekage-sama and Konoha's own hero. It's a pleasure. The woman smiled pleasantly at them. Sasuke, who stood to the side of Gaara, narrowed her eyes at the old hag. She received nothing but disgusted looks and glares ever since her arrival. Granny, I'm guessing you're the one taking care of all of them? You must be doing a good job, because they are great kids. Naruto gave her his village-famous grin as he easily raised a giggling Minori with one arm. Oh ho ho, you flatter me. It seems your reputation does precede you. You may call me Akane. She bowed her head forward in respect for the strong shinobi. Temari shot Naruto and Gaara a smile as she stood close by. Akane-san, has the issue been resolved with improving the orphanage and its finances? Gaara approached the elder, which left Sasuke standing awkwardly at the side of the room. Temari-chan is always a great help. It shouldn't take much longer for this place to get cleaned up. I've been terribly busy since the end of the war. Every shinobi in the room understood how many orphans were made after the Great War. That is good news. Rest assured I will do my best to make sure this process goes along smoothly. These children are the future of our village, and it is important to tend to them. Gaara sounded just like how a Kage should, and Naruto felt pride swell up in him for his friend. You truly were the best choice for this village, Gaara-sama. Akane complimented him with happiness showing on her aged face. Although, I wouldn't mind borrowing that man over there to help with the children. She motioned with her cane towards the children who still clung to Naruto like a tree. I'm afraid he is needed with other matters for a few more days, Gaara informed her. What a shame. Akane shook her head in disappointment. The ability to connect with the children instantly was not one to be ignored. Uchiha Sasuke is still available to help if needed. Upon Gaara's offer, Sasuke caught the darkened eyes of the orphanage owner. Is she? How nice. Akane tapped her cane lightly on the ground. Gaara-sama, do you recall how we took in some orphans when there was an unfortunate amount that couldn't be held in Tetsu no Kuni? The woman kept her eyes on Sasuke as she spoke. Yes. As a way of forming an alliance with Mifune-sama and his samurai, we agreed to take them back to Suna. There simply wasn't enough funding to support them after the war efforts caused their economy to suffer. Is there something wrong with them? Gaara had a feeling he understood, and he wasn't exactly pleased for her to be bringing this up. The past couldn't be forgotten, but times were changing. People were changing. Oh, I'm just reminiscing is all. They've all grown so much, and it feels like it was just yesterday that they were brought here. It's such a shame taken from their home, and a few even lost the only parent they had. Gaara and even Temari appeared displeased at her words. I see. Well, I am glad they are doing well. If that's all, Akane-san, we will be taking our leave soon. There are more meetings I must attend before the day ends. Despite how he felt about her comments, he acted with proper decorum. Please do not let me hold you up. She craned her head forward to acknowledge her leader before smiling at the other Suna shinobi Temari-chan. It's always a pleasure working with you. Likewise, Akane-san. Temari returned the gesture, if only a bit more subdued than usual. Naruto easily picked up on the tense atmosphere in the room and glanced at his teammate. Sasuke stood with her usual blank face. Standing from the circle of children, Naruto was determined to figure out why the mood flipped. Naruto! You're leaving? Minori's lip quivered as she looked up at her idol. Naruto patted her on the head gently before doing the same with the other children that surrounded him. Sorry, kids. I've been working with Gaara and I have another important thing to do with my teammate. Naruto apologetically explained to the downtrodden children. Will you come back to visit? Minori asked him hopefully. Of course. Whenever I'm in Suna, I'll be sure to visit you guys if you're still here. You can even come to my home when you're older. Naruto reassured them. Minori's face lit up before she whipped her head around the room to spot Sasuke. Sasu-chan! She cried before barreling into the young woman. Akane watched on with an unreadable expression. Minori. Sasuke kept her tone from revealing any emotion. Sasu-chan, are you going to come visit too? Minori needed to be reassured that she'll see her again. Her eyes shifted from Naruto to Akane. Akane's words echoed in Sasuke's head. The consequences of her actions set in. The 5 Kage Summit, a meeting that brought together all the leaders of the great nations to fight for a common goal. It was a grand event that was ultimately interrupted by her and Obito. Her goal was Danzo, she didn't care for much else at the time. Though with having won too many close calls with death and after nearly going blind, it was not an event that she enjoyed remembering. What she did vividly remember was the samurai that fought against her on the path for revenge. She cut them down one after another. It was too easy. Some may have had families, which left innocent children behind. Blinded by hatred, she didn't even bother to consider what would come out of it. Atonement, did she even deserve it? Sasu-chan. The high-pitched voice called her again. Whenever those dark thoughts invaded her mind, she held on to the words said by Naruto. How he told her she changed, how she wasn't that kind of person anymore. When she told him she could still stand against him, he assured her that it wouldn't come to pass. She wasn't being consumed by that sickening curse of hatred that held her for years. There was never any concern on his end when it came to her traveling down that road of life once more. He believed in her, even though he shouldn't. Not after all the things she's done and said to him. I will. She relented. Her regret and self-loathing remained locked up for the time being. Yay! Minori hugged her tightly at the waist, succeeding in making Sasuke's body tense. Naruto was at her side before she even noticed. He smiled cheekily at her moody face before throwing an arm around her and pulling her close. Whatever tension she felt melted away at his touch, which was a new and strange sensation for her. Ah, Sasu-chan is the best. Isn't she? Naruto teased with a snicker. His eyes shot open in pain when his foot was stepped on harshly. Be quiet. I take it back. Sasuke-chan is so mean. Minori giggled at their interaction. Akane couldn't make sense of why Naruto allowed himself to get so close to that woman. Did he not know of her previous actions? Surely he did. Her Kage noticed the confusion on her aged face. Akane-san? Gaara kept his voice low. The road that she followed in the past is not one any have forgotten. The same can be said for myself. Both his sister and the elder listened closely to their leader's words. Why does he associate with her, Gaara-sama? Someone as good-natured as him, lowering himself to that level. She orphaned some of the very children in this building. Akane's hushed tone was riddled with disdain. Sasuke has dealt with many troubles, though I understand that doesn't excuse her past actions. Despite it all, there's always been one constant in her life, Naruto. Their history isn't my place to share, but know this, Akane-san: monsters don't seek to change. Monsters don't seek help. With his piece said, Gaara went to reunite with his friend. Temari bid the woman farewell and followed her younger brother. Akane heard the children groan in disappointment and sadness when the cool shinobi left the orphanage. Before she could announce her upcoming dinner for the children, Minori ran up to her. Did you hear? Did you hear they are going to come visit? She questioned the orphanage owner while jumping in place. Yes, young one, I'm sure you must be very happy. Personal feelings aside, she had to remain positive for the orphans. I hope Sasuke-chan can teach me next time. She's so cool. She has 2 different eyes and one is purple with weird little things around it. Oh. And Naruto has. Minori began to highlight every little thing she noticed. Akane did her best to listen, but her mind drifted elsewhere. Hearing nothing but the worst when it came to the Uchiha for years, her feelings wouldn't change instantly. Though the emotions swirling in those cold Uchiha eyes when she looked at Naruto were hard to classify as monstrous. Granny? Hey, are you even listening? She was brought back to reality as Minori questioned her. Of course, my dear, I'm just a little distracted by all of the details. Please go on. Akane came to regret those words as Minori would continue to talk about her 2 new favorite people for the rest of the evening. Seated on the rooftop ledge of the Kazekage mansion, Sasuke looked out at the lit-up village. Nighttime in Sunagekure was different from anything she's seen before. When the chilling winds swept across the desert, parents rushed the children into the safety of their warm homes. The frequent and unpredictable sandstorms also ensured most wouldn't wander out into the night. Sasuke didn't mind the cold biting at her face, and her long cloak provided more than enough protection from the elements. Besides, she had a lot on her mind. Weather conditions weren't going to stop the creeping feeling of regret that formed in her chest. If someone observed her face in that moment, they'd notice the conflicted expression that overtook her usual composed and delicate features. What she heard at the orphanage left her thinking about her previous actions even more. She was the one responsible for some of those children being there. She ruined families. Just as hers was ruined by a failing system of shinobi. Sasuke closed her eyes tightly to clear her head of that line of thinking. The last time she thought like that, she lost an arm while fighting with the only person alive who truly mattered to her. So this is where you ran off to. She should have expected the voice from behind her. The last Uchiha was basically letting off every negative emotion she kept bottled up. Unfortunately for her, both Naruto and his partner were masters at picking up on those. The ledge she sat on was soon occupied by another body as Naruto sat with her. It would have been shoulder to shoulder, if the idiot didn't have such a huge growth spurt. He was too tall now. They both sat in silence, and overlooked the village that Gaara won over. Minori-chan's a cute kid, isn't she? Naruto commented as he watched the sand dance in the wind. Yeah, she is. Sasuke admitted with a frown. She wondered if Minori would still enjoy seeing her when she found out of her actions. What's the matter, Sasuke? I noticed how tense the orphanage became after the old lady came down with Temari. Naruto had some idea. He wasn't stupid, definitely dense at times, but not stupid. Sasuke knew there was no point in hiding anything from Naruto. She was stuck with him on this journey, and he was annoyingly persistent with anything involving her. The old woman mentioned some of the children were taken from Tetsu no Kuni. I'm sure you remember what happened there. Sasuke didn't look him in the eye as she spoke. The 5 Kage Summit. Naruto had his own reasons for trying to forget those days. Yes. Sasuke's confirmation caused silence to form between the two once again. Naruto knew he had to be the one to break it. You know, I begged the Raikage to leave you alone. Naruto chuckled to himself, remembering how he pitifully got on his knees to beg for her. No matter how foolish it may have seemed at the time. Everyone told me what you were doing. Everyone told me to stop trying to help you. He noticed how she still refused to meet his gaze. Why didn't you? She knew he never gave up on her, but she deserved it. To throw away his pride as a shinobi by kneeling to a foreign kage for her. When you were stuck on your path of revenge and attacked the kage, that wasn't you. That wasn't the Sasuke who constantly tried to show off during training. That wasn't the Sasuke who would kick me under the counter when I'd slurp my ramen too loudly during our team dinners. That wasn't the Sasuke I knew. Naruto explained to her, as he fondly remembered their first months as Team 7. I changed. That's all there is to it. You should have left me alone and hated me like everyone else. Sasuke's voice was barely above a whisper. She spoke those dreadful words, but did not mean them. Never. Deep down I knew you were still there. Sakura-chan wanted me to bring you back so our team could be complete again, but Naruto scratched at his whisker markings, feeling embarrassed over what he was going to admit. Even if she didn't want you back, I did. I guess I can be pretty selfish. You're the one person I wanted to acknowledge me. Besides, what you did at the summit was because of Danzo, right? I still took down anyone who got in my way, Naruto. The samurai, they were the first to go. She didn't need to explain how this related to the orphanage, she figured Naruto understood. Sasuke heard her teammate sigh as he looked up to the star-filled sky. Do you regret it, Sasuke? Being regretful won't change what I've done. I guess you're right, his response was completely justified, but that didn't stop her chest from tightening painfully. That's why you wanted to go on this journey, though. This is a chance to show everyone that the Sasuke who did all those things is gone. You can show all these people the real you. The smug Uchiha who can't handle eating sweet food. He grinned brightly at her. She couldn't believe the effect he had on her. God, what was happening to her? You really are something, Uzumaki. That was all she could say. Naruto constantly pushed her up while she tried keeping herself down. She doubted that regret would go away in her lifetime, but she wanted to follow Naruto's advice. His obnoxiously positive and warm advice. I know I am. Please keep complimenting me, Sasuke-chan. Naruto fanned himself tauntingly. You know I don't like being called that. It's cute. Sakura-chan gives you nicknames all the time. Sakura is a nuisance. Oh come on, she's your teammate. Reluctantly. Kurama's Jinchuriki began laughing happily at their back and forth. Sasuke didn't even notice that he successfully pulled her away from all the negativity swarming around inside her head. Naruto made that seem effortless. So, you really begged the raikage for me. She smirked somewhat playfully at him now. Yeah. I figured you weren't anywhere near as strong as I was, so you needed some protection. I had to save you. He was messing with her, and they both knew it. Please. You've been weaker than me from the beginning. What kind of weakling can't even do a simple Bunshin no Jutsu? She played into his taunts. Hidden within her, Sasuke would never stop being grateful for his ability and making her worries disappear. The kind that can make thousands of super strong clones. I've destroyed hundreds of those clones. They are weaker than the weakling who created them. She leaned forward to taunt him more directly. Only because I let you do that. He defended himself poorly. And I let you win our last fight. You did not. We both lost our damn arms because somebody had to clash our jutsu again. Naruto shot back at her. Sasuke felt her face flush at both his accusation and how close their faces were now. Loser, she averted her eyes from his. Ha! You admit it. If anything, Naruto's face got closer to her own. Sasuke was reminded of all those years ago when they kissed. Accidentally? If you get any closer, I will stab you. The only way Sasuke knew how to cover up her embarrassment was with empty threats. Naruto's grin widened when he picked up on it. He could read Sasuke like a book. You're embarrassed. You're delusional. And you're embarrassed. Delusional. Embarrassed. I would throw up if possible. Be quiet, Kurama. The romantic moment was ruined by the tailed beast's intervention. Delusional. Sasuke couldn't help but chuckle at the silly look on Naruto's face. Due to the distraction, she got the last word in. I'm an Uchiha, it's my right to get the last word. Not even an Uzumaki can dash. Her inner monologue was disrupted by Naruto's arms grabbing hold of her. She felt her body pressed to his in an intimate way. Naruto, let me go. I'll show you, delusional. They rolled off the rooftop in a tangle of limbs. Within the Kazekage office, Gaara rose a cup of steaming coffee to his lips. He was just about finished with whatever paperwork he set aside to help Naruto for the day. Suddenly, he felt compelled to turn his head and admire the land he swore to protect beyond the large windows. Naruto! Sasuke! Gaara watched the two fall past his window and to the sand below. Their loud voices were heard even from within his office. Chidori! I hate that jutsu! The nighttime air screamed with the ferocity of 1,000 chirping birds. He took a sip of his coffee. They would be fine. You're going to die, Naruto. Out of necessity. Sasuke jolted from her slumber, as she had that dream again. Although, calling it a nightmare was the more appropriate term. Ever since she was young, she's been plagued by them. They were an unfortunate memento left behind from her brother's actions. Pushing herself up on the surprisingly soft mattress with one arm, she felt her breathing begin to even out. Those nightmares happened so often that she barely reacted to them outwardly. In her childhood, she'd jump out of bed and spend the entire night crying. Crying for her family, her brother, and herself. Tonight she was reminded of the words she once spit in Naruto's face. Her plan to get rid of the tailed beasts, and by extension, Naruto. She recalled the way his eyes displayed the emotions he tried hiding behind his confident exterior when she revealed her ultimate goal. She failed. Naruto made sure that she lost. Naruto saved her. Her body moved from the bed lent to her generously by Gaara. His Kazekage estate was not the most luxurious, but it had a certain comfortable feel. She originally expected to have her own room far away from his own quarters. Instead, Gaara placed her close to his own, along with one other resident to share her room. Sasuke's bare footsteps made no noise as she made her way along the cool tiled flooring. It was a skill she honed from her time with Orochimaru. Her ability to maneuver silently put the deceased Zabuza to shame. Approaching a bed that sat on the opposite side of the room, Sasuke observed its occupant. Naruto appeared vulnerable. Very vulnerable. A loose tank top that was currently hiked up as he laid a hand on his toned stomach and a pair of ramen-themed boxers. His sleepwear was far different from her own. The Uchiha's baggy long-sleeved shirt and pants hid her lost appendage and body seamlessly. Sasuke's lone hand rose slowly, almost against her will. You're going to die, Naruto. Out of necessity. The words from her dream beat in her ears like a drum. Her clan's pride and joy activated as she heard him begin to mumble nonsensically in his sleep. Her Sharingan focused on his face. Every detail engraved in her mind. She wasn't even sure why she studied him like this. If there was one person she could remember perfectly, it was Naruto. The tomo in her left eye spun hypnotically while her powerful Rinnegan remained hidden behind long bangs. A small hand, at least when compared to his own, neared Naruto's face. It moved at a painstakingly slow pace. Sasuke, eat the ramen, I don't care if you don't like it, tiny Naruto mumbled while he tossed and turned in his bed. His sleep talk easily deciphered by her now, and it effectively stopped her hand's descent for the moment. Her face changed. Even in his sleep he thought of her. He was always thinking of her. Always at her side when everyone turned against her, and she did the same to them. Laying her hand gently against his cheek, she was reminded of the times when her mother would do this. How her mother would sweetly smile and tell her how she loves her. Stupid Sasuke, Naruto moved his head away from her hand as he appeared annoyed in his sleep. If Naruto saw her in that moment, he'd be treated to the genuine love-filled smile she had displayed on her usual cold face. When Sasuke returned to her bed, she slept peacefully. Her nightmares repressed by Naruto's presence. It is unfortunate that you are leaving so soon. Gaara stood alone at the entrance to his village. Sasuke certainly did not miss the presence of the other Sand siblings. I'd love to stay longer. It's just Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. I understand. Next time it would be nice if you notified me before your arrival. Gaara told the unique duo before him. Sorry about that. This whole trip happened so fast. Naruto apologized with his usual grin. It was only supposed to be me on this journey. Sasuke spoke from his side. Gaara noticed that she looked fairly well rested. Ah, Sasuke. I hope your time at the orphanage wasn't too unpleasant. The Kazekage spent most of his days with Naruto that he didn't get a chance to speak much with the former Avenger. It was alright. Sasuke answered him vaguely. Naruto poked her in the shoulder at the short answer. She sighed very quietly. Damn him. Fine, the kids weren't too bad. Her admittance earned a loud laugh from Naruto. They really liked her. Especially Minori-chan. They thought little Sasuke-chan here was the best. I won't be called little by someone who wears ramen underwear. Sasuke smirked mockingly. Don't hate on the ramen boxers. Why were you looking at them anyway? Naruto asked her with a mischievous smile. He wanted a reaction. Gaara watched them interact and was reminded of all those years ago at the Chunin exams. Back then, even while clouded by his own hatred, he noticed the bond they shared. You look like a living, breathing advertisement for noodles. It's hard not to see that. Gaara smiled as Naruto grabbed Sasuke's cloak collar. They both blinked upon realizing they got lost in their own world again. I'm glad that your time in my village wasn't entirely awful, Sasuke. Thank you for entertaining them. Gaara bowed his head forward. Despite his status and past, he remained humble. No problem, Gaara. Naruto was happy that they were both getting along. Before he could speak up, Gaara held a hand out. Unlike the last time they departed in a similar fashion, Naruto didn't hesitate. Sasuke looked on silently as the two shook hands. She knew in the future that this scene would be between two Kage. Sand drifted up to her only arm and tugged on the sleeve of her shirt. She quickly sought out the manipulator. Just as I've told Naruto many times, you are always welcome in my village too. She didn't deserve that privilege. Helping with children was little penance for plotting to rid the world of the current Kage. The sand pulled on her with more force. Sasuke could have resisted. She could have pulled away and turned her back to him. That Sasuke is gone though. Right, Naruto? Her gaze drifted to her lifeline for a split second. Be well out there. I hope you find what you're looking for. Gaara grasped her hand lightly and the sand dropped peacefully from her garment. Sasuke wordlessly nodded. She hoped so too. Next time I see you both, I'm sure you'll be together. Gaara released his hold on Sasuke and allowed her arm to fall back at her side. Naruto scrunched his face up as he thought about the meaning behind those words. You know, Gaara, you've gotten really confusing after becoming Kazekage. He continued to marvel at his friend's change in personality. Don't mind me, my friend. Stepping back closer to the village, Gaara waited for their departure. Okay then, we're off. Naruto saluted him with a bandaged hand before spinning on his heel to face Sasuke. What now? She noticed the way he looked her head to toe. If it weren't for her whole body being covered by a cloak and her patented Uchiha poker face, maybe she'd be embarrassed. You up for a race? First one to the border wins. Sasuke did not enjoy the smugness on his stupid whiskered face. Are you planning to use the Kyuubi? Her accusation hit the nail on the head. No. Sasuke reached into her cloak and flung a shuriken with a smooth flick of her wrist. Naruto tilted his head as the weapon flew through the open air of the desert. She definitely added some chakra to that throw. See you at the border, loser. Her Rinnegan widened and she disappeared. Naruto watched the shuriken fall to the sand in front of him. Oh. There she goes. Gaara commented as he looked to the titanic Susanoo flying into the barren desert. That damn cheater. I hate the Rinnegan. Tightening his fists, Naruto felt warm chakra spill from his seal. Naruto, this is a waste of chakra. You want Sasuke to beat us? Naruto felt the Kyuubi stir in the seal. Take it all. Naruto threw a wave in Gaara's direction as he rocketed towards the location of his teammate. If that's what a relationship is like, then I feel I am not ready. The Kazekage thought to himself. Gaara was just happy that the two super-powered shinobi would not be scaring his villagers half to death with their abilities anymore. I won. No, you did not. My foot crossed it first. Your stupid Susanoo has big feet. Learn to accept defeat, Uzumaki. Naruto grumbled and seated himself on a fallen log. Reaching the border of Kaze no Kuni in a relatively short time was child's play for them at this point. In the past, that trip could almost take a day or two of trekking through the desert. Why the hell does the Susanoo have such a big nose anyway? Sasuke placed herself next to him on the log and shook her head at the odd question. Uchiha clan secret. Don't question it. PSH whatever? Reaching into the inside of her cloak, Sasuke retrieved a small black book. The book itself didn't appear special, but the information inside was all Orochimaru had on happenings in the elemental nations. It would be worth more than gold to some people. Holding it, she struggled more than she'd care to admit with turning the pages using only one hand. So where are we off to next? I guess it's your turn to pick since I dragged you to see Gaara. Naruto decided to read over her shoulder. It depends. Orochimaru also included profiles on rogue shinobi and listed bounties for them. She knew Naruto wouldn't be very interested in claiming bounties, but she wanted his input. I mean, if we have to clean up some areas for the better, I guess? He sounded unsure. Rogue shinobi didn't just disappear after the war. In fact, they managed to get better at hiding as the rest of the nations were fighting world-ending threats. Peace wasn't interesting to everyone after all. Though, he wished that was the case. The Mizukage requested some help from other nations recently. I'm not sure if they responded yet, since every village is still recovering from the war. Sasuke relayed the information. Naruto's warm breath hit her ear due to his close proximity, and she felt her face warm up ever so slightly. I've never been to Kirigakure. Plus, I haven't seen the Mizukage in a while. She's very nice, you know? Naruto didn't quite understand why Mei licked her lips in his direction whenever seeing him as she visited his home village. Maybe she was thirsty? Which was weird, considering her abilities. Kurama snorted at Naruto's naive thoughts. The pages of the book crinkled when Sasuke applied a little too much force. Maybe we should go somewhere else. Oni no Kuni also needs help with something. Naruto shot off the log at that suggestion. Oh, hell no. Haha, no. I want to visit Kirigakure. Remember Zabuza was from there, and Isabu, and I'm the little Mizukage. Yeah, I love Kirigakure. Naruto steadily rose his voice with his rambling. Sasuke searched her memories for a reason behind his attitude. What was it about the area that bothered him? She didn't even know he was familiar with the land of demons. The only reason I won't question your behavior is because I want to see the world with my own eyes. That was a lie. She was definitely going to question him, just not now. Wait, does that mean we get to visit Nami no Kuni? Naruto was excited at the idea. It's been so long since he's seen Old Man Tazuna and his family. Yes. We can take a boat from there. Sasuke wasn't exactly jumping for joy at this information, even if she was interested in seeing how that place changed again. The last time she was there, she focused on getting Suigetsu the sword he wanted and not much else. Perfect. Let's move out then. Naruto shouted and marched off in a direction of his choosing. Wrong way. She stopped him in his tracks. How do you even know? An Uchiha. Orochimaru's book has a map. Doesn't it? Sasuke turned her back to him and proceeded to move in the opposite direction. She could practically feel the satisfied grin on his face from behind her. Dumb, cute, annoying Uzumaki boy. Nightfall came quickly on their long walk to Nami no Kuni, and they were met with a new problem. There isn't anywhere we can stop for the night. Sasuke frowned at the long stretch of trees ahead of them. The only sounds she heard were the rustling of tree leaves, and a very poor attempt at whistling. Her dry gaze zeroed in on Naruto. So? We can just camp it out. Naruto didn't see the problem with that as he strolled forward with his hands behind his head. It only took a few minutes for Naruto to pick a quiet spot for them. Withdrawing a small scroll from the pouch on his waist, Naruto pumped chakra into the inscribed seal. In a medium-sized plume of smoke, a bright orange tent appeared. Everything looks about right. The tent was a little worn from use with a few holes, but it held up. Nodding to himself, he turned to his best friend and watched her hesitantly pull a scroll out herself. Another plume of smoke appeared. PFTT. The noise he made irritated her. Sasuke's tent was originally way better quality than his own. Though unlike his, the years were not kind to her shelter. The entire thing looked like it was burned to a crisp multiple times. I haven't had time to get a new one. I'm fine sleeping outside. She had no issue finding a tree to lean against. She's dealt with far worse in her life than some shoddy sleeping arrangements. No way. I'll sleep outside. If there was one lesson Jiraiya beat into his head, it was never to let a woman sleep outside in the cold. Even though he would follow that advice up with inviting the girl to bed and making her warm. No. That's your tent. She stated the obvious and sealed back up her depressing tent. What if we share? Sasuke's mind briefly flashed to the previous night where she watched him sleep. I mean, this wouldn't be the first time we slept together. She almost choked on her spit at his painfully innocent tone. I slept with Sakura-chan plenty of times too. That killed her mood instantly. That was not something she liked hearing. Fine. I hope you don't snore or anything. Sasuke sent a weak glare his way. She just wasn't interested in sleeping on the ground now. That was all. Nothing else. Sakura-chan said I'm really quiet when sleeping with her. Naruto. Huh? Shut up. He sealed his lips when the glare morphed into something fiercer. Deep down he knew that Sasuke liked Sakura. Very, very, very deep down. Sasuke eyed his tent disapprovingly. He really slept in that with Sakura? There was barely enough room for 2 people. The Uchiha was fully convinced Sakura did these things to piss her off, even if she wasn't around to witness it. Are the living arrangements not up to your standards, Uchiha-sama? Naruto mocked her, and Kurama made a choking sound within the seal. Did Sakura put those holes in your tent with her brutish strength? Sasuke attempted to pull in whatever jealousy she was feeling. She needed to do it quickly too. She couldn't let Naruto catch on to the fact that Sakura made her jealous. I think it was moths. Naruto stared thoughtfully at his tent. It definitely suffered through many of his long missions. Moths named Sakura. I never got their names actually. Sasuke faked a purr-sounding cough to hide the fact that his joke got to her. It didn't hold up when Naruto broke into his own fit of laughs. This feeling Sasuke felt at ease as she laughed along with Naruto. Calming down from the laughter they shared, Naruto turned to open the tent and investigate the interior. Humming to himself, he made sure it was clean. The last time he used this was before the war started, so it's been some time. You can change first, Naruto told her nonchalantly. Sasuke stared at him for a moment, so he continued. You're going to lay down in a tent wearing like 3 layers of clothes with weapons on you? Obviously not. Squinting her special eyes at him, she moved past him and bumped him with her shoulder. The height difference only made him chuckle. Growth spurts were the best. Naruto heard her turn on the small lantern in the tent and zip up the entrance. In that brief span of time he thought of some things that Jiraiya would do. Before he can act on anything that could earn the ire of his best friend, he heard a soft thud from within the tent. Sasuke? Everything all right? He wondered if she tripped. It was a funny thought that a strong shinobi like her would fall over. It's nothing. Naruto whipped his head towards the direction of the tent entrance. Sasuke's stuttering was a rare occurrence. The internal shuffling continued for another minute before the zipper began to be pulled once more. Sasuke walked out with her usual baggy sleeping attire, and she refused to even glance in his direction. Figuring she didn't want to talk about it, Naruto wisely entered his tent to change. Having one arm, it's a challenge. Her face flushed as she thought of the embarrassing fall she suffered. Tripping while changing her pants sounded like a joke, and she really wished it was. Sasuke watched her sleeve sway in the wind with a small frown. It was a handicap, one that she would never fix or forget. She refused to. Tiny Uchiha-sama, your bed awaits. Naruto ducked his head out of the tent and gestured for her to come forward. Pushing down the urge to insult him again, she entered the small shelter. Humph. There's not much room in here. Her remark was aimed at the 2 sleeping bags that were directly next to each other. Sasuke wasn't happy at sleeping on the same spot as Sakura. Sakura. No. Dropping to the floor, Sasuke wormed her way into her orange confines for the evening. Naruto snickered and followed her actions. He knew he was getting under her skin and he loved it. A comfortable silence followed in the tent as they both watched the twinkling stars from the holes in the fabric. Luckily, it wasn't raining because Naruto knew they'd be in trouble then. Hey Sasuke? Naruto called out to her softly. Sasuke gave a small noise of acknowledgement for him to go on. What do you think about when you look at the stars? Sasuke went completely silent as she pondered his question. She thought about a lot, but one thing always stood out. Itachi used to watch the stars with me when I was young. Her eyes became half-lidded. She remembered sitting outside her home and gazing up at the beautiful sky. I would have liked to talk with him some more, you know? He was like a super genius. Seriously, every time I spoke with him I felt so dumb. Naruto complained dramatically and Sasuke found herself laughing again. That brought a tired smile to his face. Anything involving Itachi was a hard topic for her, but Naruto knew how to guide the conversation. He liked you. I don't know why, since you're a complete loser. Her words were far more affectionate than insulting. Now that you mention it, that time he stuck a crow down my throat I told him we were best friends. I don't think he believed me back then for some reason. Naruto yawned loudly as he felt fatigue hit him. Sasuke knew what he was referring to. When she met Itachi during their attempt to stop Kabuto, her brother seemed to almost tease her when it came to Naruto. The way he would call Naruto her closest comrade had hidden undertones. The Rikudo Sennin was also amused at that she realized the only 2 people she could hide her true feelings from at times was Naruto and herself. Before her own thoughts kept her trapped, she whispered to him. Naruto? What do you think of? The answer she received was in the form of soft breathing, and she fully expected him to be asleep. When I was a kid, I'd just wonder if my parents or anybody who cared was watching me from above. Then after you left, Naruto paused and Sasuke fumbled around in her sleeping bag to glance at him. Hearing about how lonely he was during his childhood always bothered her. You would what? She noticed his face dropping. He was falling asleep as he spoke. I would look for shooting stars and think of you. I just wish that you'd come home. For a second, she thought her heart skipped a beat. The tent remained quiet after that, and through the small light from a lantern, she saw that he drifted off to sleep. Sasuke didn't know if she considered Konoha home anymore. A home was somewhere she expected to feel safe and wanted, not one where she was haunted by memories of the past. While she may struggle to consider the village her home, Sasuke laid her head closer to Naruto and let sleep claim her. This was home. Naruto woke with a low groan, his sleep disturbed by the pesky sunlight that peeked through the hole-ridden interior of his tent. He reminded himself to purchase a new one, considering he wasn't exactly hurting for funds after the war. Raising an arm to hopefully rub at his face, he felt resistance. He blinked a few times to wake himself up before he sought out the cause of his struggle. A familiar head rested peacefully against his bandaged arm. Sasuke must have disregarded her pillow in favor of using him. The dead sensation in his forearm could only mean that she's been laying on it throughout the entire night. Kurama, you up? Naruto called out to his partner, hoping to get some help with the current situation. No. Leave me alone. Kurama was not pleased at Naruto laying with an Uchiha. It was only a matter of time before the boy went further and Kurama would weep. Fine, I'll just wake her myself. Naruto was very happy that Sasuke was sharing his tent instead of Sakura. While the medic got over her little habit of bonking him on the head years ago, she hated being woken up. He had to deal with that many times while going on missions with her, and he was glad Sasuke seemed more reasonable. Yes, because the words Uchiha and reasonable go together. Go back to sleep, Grumpy. With an indignant huff, the construct of chakra decided to listen for once. Bringing his other arm around to tap on Sasuke's shoulder, he attempted to wake her up. Unfortunately, it did the opposite. Sasuke continued to breathe softly as she slept and practically nuzzled his arm. Hush, she's like a cat. Naruto remembered the odd mission his team went on in the past. They had to complete a paw encyclopedia for the felines, and Sasuke was strangely committed to finishing it. He smiled when he recalled the tiny set of cat ears that was forced on each of them. Sasuke and Sakura looked pretty cute with the accessory. Gently grabbing her shoulder, he started to shake her awake. Naruto realized she really must have been comfortable in the shoddy tent. He decided to tease the girl a little and leaned in closer to whisper. Hey Sasuke, the Uzumaki are way stronger than the Uchiha. Blue eyes watched intently as her nose started to scrunch up. The Rinnegan isn't even that cool. Have you seen Senjutsu? Now that's badass. His taunts continued with little effect. Sasuke started fidgeting while he held her shoulder. Sakura-chan has a... Shut up, dumbass. Sasuke's voice was rough after just waking up. Naruto chuckled and sat back to watch her. Forcing her body up, Sasuke narrowed her mismatched eyes at her teammate. Her spiky, raven-colored hair was even more of a mess after sleeping. If she was like Sakura or Ino, she'd be horrified at her state. Good morning, Sasu-chan. His closed-eye smile reminded her of that stupid expression he'd have on his face when they were younger. Back then he would walk around with his eyes closed, and a huge grin displayed to the world. The Uzumaki are not better than the Uchiha. Sasuke couldn't help herself. She never could when it came to him. We are. We have Fuinjutsu and it's way better than your weird eyes. I'm pretty sure I've used Fuinjutsu more than you. Maybe, but my mom was like super amazing at using it. Naruto paused before his eyes lit up. Dad too. He was the yellow flash after all. His chest was puffed proudly while he talked about his parents. Yet their son is the biggest loser around. Sasuke gave him a tiny smile before rubbing at her eyes. Whatever. I gotta go take a leak. Naruto told her with no shame. Sasuke stared blankly at his back. You are a child. Naruto didn't respond. He knew if he did they'd just start insulting each other, and he'd never get to relieving himself. He left the tent unzipped before running off into the surrounding forest. Sasuke laughed quietly to herself. He was a moron. But he never changed, that's one of the things she'd always cherish. Stretching her body, which was a little sore after sleeping on the floor, she figured she should get dressed first. They can worry about bathing after reaching Nami no Kuni. At their pace, it wouldn't take long to get there. Stripping out of her oversized sleeping clothes, she sent chakra to the seal she had on her wrist, and a small scroll popped out. Grabbing it before it could fall, she huffed. I totally used Morpheus Jutsu. She needed to feel superior even if he wasn't around to hear her. Before she could open the scroll and dress herself in another one of her usual outfits, she caught sight of something bright under the blanket that covered her through the night. Sasuke bent over to retrieve the object, and for a second she thought she heard something fall outside the tent. She would have investigated if she didn't feel the vicious burn of jealousy upon seeing the article of clothing in Naruto's tent. It was a bra. Small and pink. Sasuke didn't need to have a Nara's level of intelligence to figure out who it belonged to. Only one person would wear something like that. There's no point in her even wearing a bra at that point. With a cruel smile, Sasuke felt something warm drip down from her Rinnegan eye. Only a second later, the poor lingerie succumbed to the intense flames of Amaterasu. Quickly wiping the blood from her face, she felt satisfied. Sasuke owed Sakura to some degree. She was there for Naruto when Sasuke lost herself, and the boy cared deeply for her. That didn't mean she would let her get in the way. Sasuke narrowed her eyes while struggling to put on her shirt. A lot of females cared for Naruto. It was a big change from when they were kids. Most girls disregarded him, and she was somewhat guilty of it too. However, the bond they shared was special, and she refused to give it up. Naruto chased after her for years and wouldn't quit for anything. No way would she give him up to an annoying medic. Or the Hyuga, Sasuke thought with a frown. She was on the receiving end of many scornful stares throughout her life, but she never could forget the eyes Hinata showed her that day. The day they freed everyone from Kagai's clutches. Hurriedly slipping on some black pants, Sasuke felt embarrassed when almost tripping again. One arm, damn it. She could have sworn she heard another noise come from outside too. Reaching the harbor that could easily provide them passage to Nami no Kuni, Sasuke was irritated. While it was a common feeling for her, she didn't necessarily enjoy it. Naruto, for whatever reason, stuttered when he spoke to her during their walk to the harbor. She had no idea what happened to him. You two travel in the world as a couple? Her eyes flickered to the owner of the small boat that they hired. He was an aged man with a relatively friendly disposition. The hefty amount of money Naruto gave him for an easy task made him overjoyed. Sasuke saw no point in overpaying anybody. In fact, she knew they could have easily walked the entire way with their amount of chakra. I guess we are? Naruto, ever the clueless one, shrugged towards the man. For whatever reason, Sasuke withheld from correcting him. That's sweet. Nami no Kuni used to be quite the poor region. Now it's become a bustling tourist spot, you know. We've even had the Mizukage visit to witness our spectacular bridges and beaches. The elderly man took great pride in his homeland. That's great. Naruto smiled at him. He was happy that his team and Tazuna's bridges were able to help the land improve. Look at that beauty. The Great Naruto Bridge is a marvel, ain't it? At his words, Naruto and Sasuke turned their attention to the large structure. The captain of the small boat figured they were both enamored with the bridge and simply couldn't form words. Only a few minutes later, they pulled up to a pier that led into an area that brought back many memories for the duo of shinobi. Well, it's been a pleasure, you two. Enjoy your time in Nami no Kuni. The old man was more than pleased with the sum of money Naruto generously gave him. Sasuke didn't spare him another glance before she began heading inland. Sasuke! Wait! Naruto threw the elder a quick wave before pursuing the Uchiha. You want to talk to me now? Sasuke continued to walk. What do you mean? Side by side, they approached the large bridge. All the way from the tent to the harbor you either stuttered or kept quiet. That's not like you. She watched him from the corner of her eye. He scratched at his cheek and looked towards the ground. I'm just tired, you know. Now she knew something was up. Fine, keep lying. I don't care. Sasuke wasn't even sure why it bothered her that much in the first place. Naruto appeared to be less than pleased with her response. We're here. Your silly bridge. Sasuke changed the topic and put her hand on her hip while watching people move about on Tazuna's pride. Naruto momentarily forgot about their previous conversation and grinned when the memories came back to him. Zabuza and Haku, they were a part of shinobi history. He wasn't happy at recalling their deaths, but rather at the impact they had on him. Are you jealous that you don't have a cool bridge named after you? Naruto chuckled when she rolled her eyes. As if. Who wants to be remembered in this backwater country anyway? Hey, you heard what the old man said? These people are thriving now. A bridge isn't that cool anyway. Sasuke ignored his knowing look and walked onto the bridge. Naruto walked by her with his hands behind his head. Onlookers subtly pointed at them and whispered in hushed tones. He was briefly reminded of his childhood but shoved those thoughts away. They probably know who we are, or rather you. Sasuke knew Naruto was quickly becoming a bit of a household name. A person couldn't befriend all of the Kage, while also being a key figure in the war, and not be known throughout the world. It's kinda embarrassing. At her best friend's words, she shook her head. He wanted to be the center of attention his entire life, and now that he was, he couldn't handle it. His flushed face was at least cute to her. They probably don't know who you are because you're wearing like 3 layers of clothes. Never mind. He wasn't cute. Naruto, stop criticizing my clothing. I never called out that dumb orange jacket you always wore. Sasuke noticed some people stop and watch them, which was Naruto's fault because he got in her face as usual. You dressed like a boy when we were younger. Naruto's accusation made her deadpan. It was a shirt and shorts. It had no gender. Nope. It was like you stole Itachi's clothes or something. They were mine. How did he know she did that? Don't knock the orange and I won't make fun of your boy clothes. Cute and infuriating were equally as synonymous in Sasuke's mind when describing Naruto. She was about to speak again before she saw a teenage girl appear behind Naruto. Excuse me, did she just call you Naruto? At the sound of a new voice, Naruto turned and looked down at the shorter girl. HM? Yeah, that's me. He pointed a thumb to his chest confidently. Sasuke resisted the urge to snort. Uchihas don't snort. She was not Sakura. No way. The hero. Everyone, it's him. The girl shouted loudly and practically alerted the whole bridge. Naruto didn't get a chance to talk before a crowd formed and he was pulled in various directions. Sasuke stood at the edge of the crowd, seemingly ignored by the populace. She wasn't upset at the lack of attention, instead she reflected on the scene before her. Naruto's actions led him up this point. Everything he did selflessly for others invoked this reaction throughout the elemental nations. After connecting with him and basically seeing into his memories, she surely missed some details. He accomplished more than he let on. And he never wants anything in return. This fool can't even handle praise. Her eyes softened at his embarrassed face. Something as simple as overpaying an elderly ship owner, he did it without thinking. That was the kind of person he was. She wanted to atone, but she couldn't bring herself to give to others willingly like him. Not yet. Sasuke! Help! Naruto shouted pitifully from the crowd and she locked eyes with him. Mouthing a small no at him, his face fell into despair and she didn't fight her smile from showing. Turn left up here. Are you sure? I could have sworn it was on the right. No. That would lead to the forest where we learned how to climb trees. Naruto hummed as he walked towards a certain bridge builder's home. He managed to escape the onslaught at the bridge by a few sneaky substitutions. Sasuke finally took pity on him and aided in his escape. Seeing a house come into view, Naruto knew that had to be Tazuna's residence. It was a modest-sized home, but it was still an upgrade from the humble space all those years ago. Go knock on the door. Sasuke commanded him from his side. Why do I have to do it? They probably won't remember me without my so-called boy clothes. She glared at him and he appeared sheepish. Good point. Naruto stepped up to the wooden door and raised a hand to knock. You knock like a weakling. Sasuke wasn't sure why she felt the need to insult him pointlessly. Maybe she loved his reactions, or maybe the clothing comments still got to her. Naruto had no opportunity to challenge Sasuke to a fight as the door opened suddenly. Hello? Oh my, it can't be. A mature woman with long blue hair and soft facial features stared wide-eyed at the duo. Naruto-kun and Sasuke-chan? Nobody would ever notice Sasuke's Rinnegan twitch. It's been a long time, Tsunami-san. Naruto surprised his teammate with his respectful tone. Please come in. I just finished making some tea. Opening the door wide, Tsunami gestured for the two to enter. The mother of Inari and daughter of Tazuna would forever be grateful to these shinobi. That sounds great, right, Sasuke-chan? Naruto continued to tease her. Tsunami watched the two and smiled to herself. Lose it sounds wonderful, Naruto. She stopped herself from being rude in front of the woman. The way Sasuke said his name sounded so wrong that Naruto wanted to cringe. I see that you two haven't changed. It's adorable. Tsunami allowed the two entry into her home, and they neatly took off their sandals. She reminisced on the two young shinobi competing with each other while eating and almost getting sick. Please take a seat at the table, I'll bring you both some hot tea and we can talk. Naruto had no time to blink before Tsunami dashed off to her kitchen. He surveyed the room and fondly remembered being in the exact place on their first ever mission outside of the village. They seemed to be doing well for themselves, Sasuke commented as she made her way to the table. It just makes me happy that the people here aren't suffering anymore. Naruto was glad he had the chance to visit all of the people from his past. Yeah, it's a big difference from back then. Fighting with her Sharingan for the first time, almost dying and spending time alone with Naruto ensured that Sasuke would never forget this place. Okay, you too. Steaming hot tea coming your way. Tsunami entered the room with a tray of cups in her grasp. Distributing the beverage, she took a seat directly across from the two. She found it cute that they chose to sit so close to each other. They've truly grown from those little shinobi kids. Tsunami admired their outward changes. Naruto looked a lot more mature with his shorter hair and overall physique. It was harder to see a lot of Sasuke underneath the long cloak and hair. Regardless, Tsunami knew she had a unique and mysterious charm to her that was amplified as she grew. It's delicious. Naruto wasn't a big fan of tea, Sasuke knew that from their past missions. He still complimented it with no hesitation. It really is. Thank you? Sasuke nodded her head in gratitude. Oh, stop. You two really know how to flatter an old lady. Tsunami smiled at the two. You're not old at all. You still look so young and pretty. Naruto received two different reactions. Tsunami beamed brighter at his compliment, and Sasuke hid a frown behind her cup. Speaking of old, where's that famous bridge builder and Inari? Tsunami looked shocked for a second. She couldn't believe she forgot to tell them. Both my father and Inari-kun are in Kirigakure for an important meeting regarding a structure being rebuilt soon. I'm terribly sorry for not telling you sooner. Seeing her bowed head, Naruto waved her off quickly. No. It's fine. We just wanted to make sure they were doing alright. They are doing more than alright. My father is wanted for jobs all over the elemental nations and Inari-kun is following in his footsteps. Tsunami couldn't be prouder of her family. That makes a lot of sense since that old man makes some amazing bridges. Naruto was happy to have one named after him, even if Sasuke thought it was lame. Of course, and it's all thanks to your team. We can never repay you all for what you've done for our home. Tsunami reached over the table to tap on Naruto's bandaged hand as a friendly gesture. She's like a 40-something-year-old woman. She's not Sakura or the big-chested Hyuga. Sasuke quelled her jealousy. It was both silly and a new feeling for her when it came to Naruto. She wasn't sure what to do. You two have to stay for dinner. I'd love to hear more about what you've been up to. Tsunami initially was weary of shinobi, but that all changed after her father went to Konoha and received help from one specific team. Sasuke was about to deny the offer before feeling a pinch on her leg underneath the wooden table. Her right eye flickered between obsidian black and bright red. Seriously, how did he know? We'd love to. He had that ridiculous smile on his face. The one that made Sasuke stupidly attracted to him. Damn it. Great. I hope you two don't shovel it down like last time. Tsunami giggled at the duo. Oh, let me go grab a few pictures of the two. They've built some amazing things over the past few years. She suddenly left the duo seated at the table. The only sound coming from the room was Naruto purposely sipping his tea loudly. I hate you. Sasuke spoke through gritted teeth. He laughed so hard that he almost choked on the tea. I really didn't expect anybody to give us a free room to stay in. Naruto stood in front of a rather luxurious hotel room door. On their way back from Tsunami's, they were met with another crowd who showered Naruto with more praise. Among the group, there was a strange man who slipped him a key to this very hotel and said it was free of charge for a hero. One girl offered to be my girlfriend. I don't know how to handle this. Even after saving his village from pain, he wasn't sure how to accept the gratitude properly. Get used to it. Sasuke swiped the key from his hand and brushed past him. You are a hero to most of the world now. As she opened the door, Sasuke wondered if her brother would have received the same praise as a hero of the village. Hey, you are too, Naruto added. A ghost of a smile appeared on her face before she unlocked the door. They both entered the large room and Naruto reached for the light switch near the entrance. That's weird. I've never seen a bed shaped like that before. Sasuke glared at the illuminated room before her. Was this a joke? The entire room was covered in red velvet wallpaper and an expensive chandelier hung from the ceiling. Naruto calling out the bed confirmed her suspicions. It was heart-shaped and definitely meant for more than sleeping. Wow. I haven't seen that much alcohol in a long time. Naruto was amazed at the wide selection of drinks that were on a table in the middle of the room. When he traveled with Jiraiya, the pervert definitely enjoyed his drinks. He did want to honor his mother's words about drinking, but he was really curious now. After fighting in a war and losing an arm, he felt he could drink a little. We are not staying in here. Sasuke looked towards her partner with poorly concealed embarrassment. Wouldn't it be rude not to accept the room? I mean, it was given to us for free. Naruto watched the girl shake her head negatively. We can get another. Let's just say something is wrong with this one. No way was she sleeping in a honeymoon suite. I dunno. These people are really nice. I don't want to come off as rude. Proper Hokage decorum states that a leader must always present themselves in a respectable way and do so with a smile. Also, he heard Sasuke clear her throat slightly. Naruto. Yeah? He huffed. I don't know why you're so concerned. It's just a bedroom. And you're just a fool. How could one boy be so dense? I've been called worse. I know. Naruto chuckled before stepping further into the room, which made Sasuke sigh quietly. Whoa, there's even a huge bathroom with a bunch of flower petals on the floor. Naruto raised a hand to his chin and surveyed the strange room. Sasuke stepped closer to the bed and her eyes caught sight of some colorful packages thrown about on the nightstand. Picking them up, she froze in place. Are these? She hoped she'd never see the man who slipped Naruto that key again for his sake. Sasuke? What you got there? At the sound of his voice, she jumped and put distance between them. Naruto looked bewildered at the action. Nothing, it's nothing. I need to shower. She practically flew into the bathroom while avoiding his eyes. Has Sasuke always been such a weirdo? Naruto spoke to himself. From within his seal, Kurama made a sound similar to coughing. She. Don't. Naruto whispered softly. I will never stop. Sasuke stood in front of a mirror with a small red towel around her body. Her reflection frowned back at her, dark eyes roamed over her pale skin. She stared for a few minutes at the location of her missing appendage. With the combination of Tsunade and Sakura's healing, the stump that was a remainder of her arm wasn't obscene or disgusting. To most people, at least. She could never wield weapons the same way. She would never be able to practice shuriken jutsu similar to her brother. She wasn't even sure about wearing anything besides long-sleeved clothing or cloaks anymore. She never cared about what others thought regarding her appearance, besides one exception. However, the missing arm left her with an odd feeling in her chest. She'll never regret denying the Hashirama-infused arm that Naruto was fitted with. It was a reminder of her mistakes. I guess I'll never get him to look at me like he did back then. Sasuke's frown returned with a vengeance. The first time Naruto saw her after her defection to Orochimaru, he could hardly form words. She had her mind set on revenge back then, but she couldn't deny how good she felt when witnessing Naruto's reaction. She knew Naruto cared little about physical appearances. He childishly liked Sakura for years, who Sasuke considered inferior. He also didn't give Hinata any attention, at least to her knowledge and elation. She doubted they ever received the same wide eyes from him that he graced her with. Would you still look at me that way, Naruto? Turning away from her reflection, she figured there was no point in thinking about it. Picking out some fresh clothes for the evening, she dressed in her typical baggy outfit. With her hair still wet from her shower, she grabbed the knob of the bathroom door and opened it slowly. What the hell are you doing? Sasuke scanned over her teammate's form. He also changed into a loose white shirt and orange shorts. That wasn't the issue. No, it was the 2 empty bottles of alcohol at his side. Sasuke! He shouted at her with a dopey smile. Where were you? I was waiting for a while, I think. Naruto pointed at a clock on the wall. Sasuke followed his drunken movements and widened her eyes. A whole hour and a half passed. No way I was in there for that long? Okay, maybe she got a little distracted by the luxurious bathroom. Her eyes locked onto hazy blues. So you decided to get drunk while waiting? She accused him with a hand on her hip. Hey, I never drank this stuff before. Kurama challenged me, you know. Said something about Uchiho's weight, that's not right. Naruto laughed to himself, proving that he was indeed under the influence of alcohol. Sasuke eyed the bottles curiously. She never drank either. There were certainly opportunities in the past, but she didn't care to try. Yo Sasuke, come have some. Naruto patted at his side. Curiosity killed the Uchiha as she moved over to him. She was surprised that a Jinchuriki was able to get intoxicated so easily. He did finish 2 bottles by himself, though she had to give him some credit. I've been drinking it from the bottle. Naruto missed the dead stare Sasuke gave him. But I think we can put it in these little cups and drink it like that. Naruto pushed 2 shot glasses forward. You're very drunk, Naruto. Sasuke smelled the alcohol on his breath due to their close proximity. He shushed her quickly. Look, I'll pour some. Sasuke chuckled when he completely missed the glass and poured it onto the expensive table. Hey! The hell are you laughing at? Naruto's face was flushed as he leaned towards her. You're the world's biggest loser. She jabbed a finger at his chest, and he recoiled back. Here. You do it then. He handed her the clear bottle, and she scrunched her nose up at the strong scent. Hopefully it tasted better than it smelled. Pouring a decent amount into the tiny glass, she did the same for Naruto. Picking it up with ease, she turned to him with an eyebrow raised. Do I just drink it now or? Sasuke wasn't too sure either. I think Pervy Sage did this before, or was it the other thing with the girl? Just hit the glasses together, and we drink. Naruto had some trouble holding the glass and his slurred words weren't helping. Okay? Tapping her glass against his, she raised it to her lips. She dipped her tongue into the liquid and was going to turn it down due to the taste. Done! Naruto put his glass down and gave her a big dumb smile. Never one to be outdone, especially by Naruto, she downed the alcohol. She coughed at the intense flavor. It was certainly different. Kurama said that there's no way you can drink more than me. Naruto teased her after hearing his partner taunt the Uchiha from his seal. Big talk from a locked-up fox. Her Sharingan activated in an instant. Wanna do it again? He gestured clumsily to the bottle. As if I'd lose to you. Sasuke poured 2 more shots and they pressed their glasses to each other. They continued going back and forth for some time, completely unaware of their limits already being reached. Sasuke felt her entire body heat up from the drink. It was similar to how she would feel when her chakra was being built up for a devastating jutsu. Naruto leaned his head against the table and groaned loudly. Another empty bottle was placed at his side. I feel like my head is spinning. Like a raisin gan. He had to put in considerable effort to look at Sasuke. What are you looking at? Sasuke? Is it hot in here? It's hot. She felt her own breathing becoming heavier. It might not have been the best idea to wear heavier clothes now. The alcohol flowing through her system made the clothes feel uncomfortable. Kurama says it's room temperature, ha 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 ha. Naruto started laughing loudly at the awful joke from the Kyuubi. Kushina would not be pleased if she could see her son in his current state. Sasuke grabbed at the hem of her long-sleeved shirt and quickly pulled it over her head. She let out a sigh of relief as the cool air hit her sleeveless black undershirt. While Naruto stared at her in amazement. Sasuke felt panic fill her. It was foolish, and if she were sober she would know that. Naruto's seen her missing arm in the past. They bled out next to each other for hours. Still he. You know you should do that more often. Naruto almost quietly spoke. Have less clothes, you idiot, she attempted to glare at him, but she could barely look straight. Your arm. You don't need to hide that, Sasuke. He began to raise both his voice and his own arm. This isn't even mine. Well, kind of. I don't know really, all that medical stuff is hard. His drunken talk continued. My missing arm is ugly, you don't want to see that. She admitted to him. Ha! Naruto picked his head up quickly. You're the prettiest girl I know. No way are you ugly. He wasn't sure why her Sharingan was active, but he didn't really care. Really? Her simple question earned a round of head nods from Naruto. Duh. It's like if you were the biggest bowl of miso ramen, and everybody else is just tiny versions of it. Get it? Sasuke grinned. She grinned hard. Soon after, a drunken and stupid laugh escaped her lips that made Naruto join in. Why did you call me ramen? She managed to ask him. Words were hard for her right now. Well, I love ramen, so Naruto shrugged happily and reached for more alcohol. He failed. Sasuke sat stunned at his words. Though the room may be spinning, her ears were working. Love, what the hell was he saying? Oh. Remember how I wasn't talking this morning? Naruto paused and Sasuke was hardly paying any attention now. Yeah. I saw you naked in my tent. Seriously, I didn't expect that. It was an accident, but awesome. Naruto shot her a thumbs up, proving that he was a very honest drunk. If Sasuke wasn't consumed by the borderline proclamation of love, Naruto's words would have ruined the moment. Standing underneath the shower head in one of the most luxurious bathrooms she's seen in her life, Sasuke felt like death. Her head was practically pounding, and her eyes fought to close. She hasn't felt this sluggish since the war. It was an unfair comparison considering her enemy here was a few bottles of alcohol. She concluded that being hungover was not fun. Throwing up all over the only man she cared about was horrifying. Kill me. Putting her forehead against the shower wall, she did her best to recall the previous night. They did eventually pass out from drinking. Competing against each other was an awful idea. I can't believe I took my shirt off in front of him like that. Her face felt warmer, but she chalked it up to the scalding water hitting her. Her memories were a bit scrambled from the previous night. Blacking out from alcohol tends to do that. However, she could not forget those wide blue eyes as she removed her oversized clothing. Or the words he spoke about loving her. Thankfully, her Sharingan being active allowed her to remember some details. His reaction to her taking off her shirt still shocked her. When it came to chest size, she was certainly not on the level of the previous Hokage. Hell, she wasn't even like the Hyuga. That didn't necessarily bother her. She'd rather not have those gigantic things weighing her down. At least she was bigger than Sakura and that girl who only threw kunai and shuriken. For the life of her, Sasuke could not remember her name. Oh well, it probably wasn't important. A smile graced her features while thinking about Naruto's wide-eyed stare. It genuinely made her feel good, once she got past the fear of revealing her missing arm. She may have the world's most intense migraine right now, but that wouldn't stop her joy over being acknowledged by him. To think that I didn't want him to come with me, what would I be doing without him right now? She imagined she'd be roaming around like some homeless person, sulking and getting nowhere. Maybe she would. Sasuke! Loud knocks sounded on the door, making her eyes narrow. She was currently showering and very much naked. What do you want? I'm in the shower. She had to raise her voice over the sound of the water. You're taking too long. I really need to get in there. Naruto continued his obnoxious knocking. Idiot. Sasuke scrubbed at her body again, ignoring Naruto for the time being. The doorknob started to rattle, revealing that Naruto was getting fed up with the overly long shower. In her defense, she needed it right now. I smell like a certain Uchiha's vomit. I'll give you 2 minutes before I steal the shower. If Sasuke was anything like that mousy Hyuga, she would have buried her face into her hands due to the embarrassment. She'd sooner end herself by falling on her own Chidori before acting like that. Shut up and let me shower, she shouted back for hopefully the last time. 30 seconds. Naruto yelled back. He did not enjoy smelling like alcohol and vomit. He learned his lesson, and Kurama's mocking laughter was getting to him. Sasuke wasn't sure if it was because she wanted to call his bluff or something deeper, but she remained silent. As if he'd actually come in here. No way would he do that. Hearing the sound of a lock being picked only proved that yes, he would do that. Naruto, she reacted quickly, pumping chakra to her wrist seal only for nothing to come out. Forming a hand sign, she channeled chakra for a specific jutsu. A jutsu she didn't need 2 hands for. She's seen Naruto do it plenty of times to get the hang of it herself. The door opened and Naruto walked in with annoyance plastered on his face. He did not feel amazing, and Kurama's jokes only made the situation worse. Before he could even look over the large bathroom, a shadow dropped down before him. A fully dressed Sasuke stared deeply into his eyes. Wait, that's her dash. It was too late for him. Genjutsu. Stupid Uchiha. Kurama was less than impressed. Naruto's body dropped like a sack of potatoes. The Sasuke in front of him let out a breath she was holding in. It wouldn't last long, considering Kurama could snap him out of it. Are we clear? Peeking out of the shower, Sasuke spoke to her clone. Receiving a head nod in return, she dashed for a towel first. More on. Sasuke whispered at the down Naruto. If he really wanted to see her know. I definitely don't like or love him. She couldn't shower in peace, she couldn't even atone in peace. Turning to exit, she froze when she sensed movement behind her. Sasuke. Naruto. Wait. I am not fighting in a towel. Naruto ended up paying the hotel a considerable fee for the damages caused by their fight. I can't see a damn thing, it's hot, and there's mosquitoes everywhere. Naruto grumbled while slapping away the relentless bugs. Someone isn't in a good mood. Sasuke kept her pace even with his as they walked towards Kirigakure. After the small-scale fight in the hotel, they departed from Nami no Kuni by boat to continue their journey. As she mentioned to him before, the Mizukage apparently needed some help with her rogue problem. It's partially your fault. Naruto accused her. Partially? That's a big word for you. No, it isn't. It is. Sasuke ducked beneath her cloak so she wouldn't reveal her smile. Naruto scowled and pushed ahead of his partner, though the fog made it extremely difficult to see. His eyes narrowed when he heard something come from the nearby trees. He knew Sasuke stopped in her tracks as well. Bandits? The Uchiha questioned. No. Naruto's eyes almost immediately changed, displaying his masterful control of Senjutsu. It's one person. Sasuke's Sharingan spun to life when her ears picked up something breaking through the tree line. Naruto! Above you! Her warning was unnecessary, and she knew that. A large sword, one that was insanely familiar to both shinobi, descended onto Naruto. The surrounding damp forest was silent as Naruto simply held his hands against the dangerous weapon, stopping it in its tracks. Damn, Orochimaru wasn't kidding when he said you were a monster now. A snarky voice spoke from beneath a hooded cloak. Oh, it's just you. Naruto's disinterest was noted by Sasuke. The girl shook her head and deactivated her eye. He could have killed you. You know that, right, Suigetsu? At her words, the cloaked individual laughed and pulled his sword away from Naruto's grip. Nah, he wouldn't do that. Suigetsu pulled his hood down and shot the duo a sharp grin. He looked the same to Sasuke. He was still the cocky asshole who she used for her own goals. I could have. Naruto stressed the word. He did not like Suigetsu. I'm not buying it. Suigetsu hefted the large sword, Kubikuribocho, over his shoulder and back into its sheath. I just wanted to test the great war hero after all. Casually, he retrieved a small water bottle from his hip and took a few sips. Naruto mumbled something under his breath before placing himself very close to Sasuke's side. She rose an eyebrow but didn't comment on it. What brings you two here anyway? Suigetsu was pretty curious. Sasuke was always so mysterious, and their little group wanted to know what her next goal would be. Official business for our village, don't worry about it. Naruto told him quickly, eager to end the conversation. I see what's happening here, Kurama thought with a small chuckle. This was new for the QB too. It was rare for Naruto to be jealous over a woman. Orochimaru told me it was something about atonement. You couldn't even be bothered to stop by and say hello to your old teammate while visiting that snake, Sasuke? Suigetsu tilted his head at the once traitor to her village. You are not her old teammate. Naruto whispered with heat in his voice. Sasuke heard it easily. I was busy. Sorry. That was the best excuse she could give the boy. What are you doing here anyway? I thought you only helped Orochimaru. She briefly wondered why they didn't just put an end to that monster. It wouldn't be that hard. Well, I do some errands for the Mizukage as well. In return for keeping this beautiful blade here without her sending bounty hunters after me, I do some missions. I'm happy she's happy, and I'm not being hunted. He shrugged carelessly. Maybe you should be. Naruto's hushed words seriously confused Sasuke. She hasn't seen him this hostile towards anyone in some time. There's no way. Is he jealous? Sasuke knew that emotion far too well. He was jealous of Suigetsu. Why? You're both on your way to Kirigakure, right? I'll join you since I'm wanted for a job anyway. Placing himself at Sasuke's other side, he pointed to the surrounding fog. The fog is almost a natural defense. Following that direction will get us there quickly. Thanks. That was all Sasuke could offer. She left Suigetsu to die, so it felt awkward for him to be this friendly with her. Walking in the direction of his pointed finger, she left the two boys behind. Naruto's jealousy was consuming her thoughts. Suigetsu stood in silence with Naruto for a few seconds before letting out a low whistle while looking at Sasuke's departing form. I know we can't really see it now, but she does have a nice ass, you know? I'm 2 seconds away from putting a raisin shuriken through his face. Do it. I won't tell anybody. Naruto would never like Suigetsu. Believe it. What do we have here? The voice was almost sultry as one of the strongest women in the elemental nation stood from behind her desk. Mizukage? More like a whore, in Sasuke's eyes at least. Mizukage-sama, sorry for intruding on your village so suddenly, but Naruto got cut off by her raised hand. Sasuke was momentarily surprised with his maturity, even if it was aimed at this predator of a woman. There is no need for such a prominent figure in the war to apologize to me. You are welcome here always. She licked her lips and gave Naruto a strange smile. Hello, Mizukage. Sasuke cut in with an edge. Mei snapped her attention to the dark-haired Uchiha. Oh? I see you've brought along this one. Is she eager to be melted again? Mei blew out a small amount of steam, making Sasuke glare heatedly at her. Where Sasuke's mouth was covered by Naruto, who smiled nervously at the Mizukage. Suigetsu didn't waste any time in backing out of the room when feeling the tension. No way was he getting involved in a battle like this, he could just come back later. No, she actually wants to help out around the village or with missions wherever possible, please. Naruto put on his best smile, successfully getting the older woman's attention. Is that what brings you here? Helping the Uchiha find some work? Mei was not a big fan of someone who would have gladly killed her in the past. Well, that and hopefully getting some help from you. Naruto released his hold on a blank-faced Sasuke to rub at his neck. I am trying to learn from some of the Kage in order to ready myself for the future. I don't want to force myself onto you or anything though. Mei's eyes lit up at his last sentence and Sasuke's darkened. For a handsome young man such as yourself, you can come to me anytime. I'd be more than happy to allow you to shadow me for your stay. Mei rounded her desk to stand in front of the two. She crossed her arms under her large bust and tilted her head to the side. Sasuke did not like Mei. Thank you so much. Naruto beamed at her, completely missing the sexual undertones. You are simply adorable. Now what should I do with you, Uchiha? Mei narrowed her eyes at the Sharingan-enhanced glare. We heard that you requested help for your problem with Rogue Shinobi. I'll handle it. Sasuke told her rudely. She didn't care one bit about this woman's position. You'd be correct about that. Ever since Mei shook her head, deciding not to think about one of her most trusted shinobi's death. We've had a big issue in the recent months. Many shinobi decided to dodge the war entirely, and some went against the stability we've set up between villages. You see why this is a problem, yes? Mei tapped on her desk with a well-manicured nail. Naruto and Sasuke nodded at her question. Yeah, I hate that there's still people that don't want peace between the villages, but I guess the change was too sudden for some. Naruto was committed to holding this peace until the day he died. Indeed, it is a shame. When it comes to these shinobi, they've been surprisingly hard to track down. We have a general location to the west of the village, but somehow they cover their tracks pretty well. Mei continued her explanation. They travel as a group? Sasuke found that odd. Not many rogues decided to team up. Odd, isn't it? I thought the same, but nonetheless they are a problem. Anything that threatens the village right now needs to be taken care of. They each have bounties on their heads as well. Mei reached into a drawer of her desk and flipped a small book to Sasuke. The girl caught it with ease and scanned its contents quickly. Orochimaru really obtained all of this information on his own. How does he do it? Sasuke had to give him credit, he was a master of espionage. You can meet with my shinobi at the gates for a better approximation of their location. Alive or dead, it doesn't matter to me. Mei had no respect for war dodgers or threats to stability. Alive would be nice. Naruto commented offhandedly. Mei smiled in amusement. You're much too caring, Naruto-kun. You remind me of your father a fair bit. I've always heard he was a kind man. Not to mention she had a huge crush on him while she was growing up. What shinobi didn't know about the yellow flash? Hee. Naruto scratched at his cheek with a big smile. Being compared to his father always left him feeling happy. Sasuke wasn't crazy about Mei's compliments, but she enjoyed seeing Naruto like this. I assume you both don't have living arrangements for the extent of your stay, correct? Mei looked Naruto up and down for a moment. We booked a stay at a hotel already. We are fine. Sasuke lied. Naruto kept his mouth shut but was confused on why she would lie. That's a shame. Mei shook her head sadly. Here I was hoping to give Naruto-kun some personal lessons at my home. Huh. I mean, I need whatever lessons I can get to become Hokage. Naruto didn't want to lose out on experience. Oh? Is that so? Mei's smile screamed trouble. I want to crush her with my Susanoo. Sasuke would never like Mei. Humph. Being on her own again was strange. Sasuke had grown used to having Naruto at her side now. Even before that, she had her Hibi/Taka team with her. Naruto was stuck with the predator of a Kage today, learning about the distribution of missions and pay. She gave Naruto a lot of credit, he never was one for paying attention. His drive for learning made her proud. He really would become Hokage, and she would focus on the mission. Sasuke used her Sharingan and Rinnegan to search for any traps or lingering chakra. After obtaining the general location of these rogues, she walked aimlessly through a humid forest. Eyes searching every direction, she narrowed them at a rabbit caught in a rather simple trap. So someone's been hunting around here. She pushed forward towards the deceased animal. Stepping over a small pile of branches, Sasuke's ears picked up a small noise. It was similar to a mechanism clicking into place. A smirk bloomed on her face. Easy. A barrage of shuriken shot at her upon triggering another trap. She sidestepped the projectiles easily, her Sharingan making something like that child's play. You're all around here then. The trap was decent. Probably good enough to catch a mediocre shinobi by surprise. She assumed the Mizukage just wasn't looking hard enough for the strays if they were only this skilled. She had a few ideas on what to do. Biting at her thumb, she let the blood flow onto her palm before slamming it towards the ground. Only a moment later, a plume of smoke appeared before her, and her summon appeared. Nice to see you again, Garuda. Sasuke gave the large hawk a soft smile. The large summon gave a gentle screech as he nuzzled his head against Sasuke. She did appreciate her snake summons, but Garuda was special to her. I need your help with finding some shinobi around here. Can you fly above and search for any oddities in the area? Sasuke questioned the intelligent creature. Garuda nodded only one time before shooting off into the sky. Fiercely loyal and protective of her, she definitely preferred Garuda. He reminds me of Naruto, she chuckled when thinking about a combination of Naruto's face and Garuda's. Continuing her walk through the forest, she kept her eyes peeled for more traps. Any thoughts about the traps belonging to a random hunters were gone now, entirely due to the inclusion of rigged shuriken. Her Sharingan spun slowly as she focused on some of the taller trees in the area. The bark is marked by a kunai. It was a common tactic that young genin used when on missions outside of their village. Marking the trees slightly would ensure they wouldn't get lost if separated from their team. Her head snapped upwards when a loud screech ripped through the area. Garuda flapped his wings before shooting off in a different direction. Let's get this over with. I have to go save that loser from being taken advantage of. Sasuke planned to take out everyone as fast as possible. Jumping from tree branch to tree branch, she soon noticed Garuda sitting perched on a fallen tree. They overlooked a large mountain swallowed by fog. What did you find? Sasuke stood next to her summon and scanned the area. Extending his beak towards a peculiar rock, Garuda waited for his summoner to catch on. Fortunately for the hawk, his summoner had some good eyes. Those rocks ninjutsu. Someone is concealing the cave entrance with those boulders. It almost looks natural, but they've been lifted recently. Sasuke hopped off the branch, letting her summon watch over her. It's smart. Using the natural fog of the region to cover their tracks, while also having a shelter to easily retreat to. Her Sharingan shifted, her eyes taking on a completely different form. Stay on watch out here, I'm going in. Sasuke didn't need to turn around to know that her summon understood. A purple ribcage surrounded her while she faced the large boulders. Loud and proud was never her style, she preferred subtlety. Unfortunately, there was no other way she could get into the cave without waiting for the occupants to emerge. She had no patience, and any more time spent here was more time that Mei could use to corrupt Naruto. With what seemed like no effort, a large purple fist crashed into the boulders. They shattered into an uncountable amount of pieces, a feat that would have Sakura jealous. Entering the dark cave, Sasuke had no opportunity to investigate before a few kunai made her body their target. The trajectory was off, only two could reasonably reach her, and she doubted it would be a vital spot. They bounced harmlessly off the Susanoo. A whistle sounded from the shadows and Sasuke figured that this must be their lookout. She found her targets. Blitzing towards the location of the whistle, Sasuke intercepted a short individual who was dressed in a hooded cloak similar to the ones Suigetsu wore. Gripping the short shinobi in her Susanoo arm, they cried out in pain and Sasuke froze at the noise. They sounded young, too young. Hearing the whizzing of more weapons heading her way, she was more than confident in being protected, so she kept her Sharingan gaze on her tiny captive. It would be simple to end this now and move on to the other shinobi. One squeeze of her Susanoo's arm could damage anyone that wasn't named Naruto. Please! Please let him down! Please! A man's voice shouted at her with panic present in his tone. You must be the rogue shinobi set to be eliminated by Kirigakure. Sasuke heard more footsteps behind her, and she could practically feel the fear in the cave. Her dark chakra was probably suffocating some of them. He's innocent. Please don't harm my son. The man behind her pleaded, breaking every tradition Kirigakure had about raising cold-hearted killers. Son. Sasuke's hand pulled back the hood of her captive. Tear-filled brown eyes greeted her. Shaggy blue hair covered the boy's head, sorely needing a good haircut. His skin was sickly pale, showing that he rarely stood out in the sunlight. I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Sasuke's eyes widened in shock before she dropped her Susanoo. The boy fell to his knees before her, wheezing painfully due to her technique's grip. I was going to. Sasuke once believed she was committed to eliminating the population of Konoha. Seeing the panic-filled eyes of an actual child before her, pleading for his life, she was reminded of herself. She wasn't soft like Naruto, but could she really steal her heart in such a way? Kaito! Kaito! Now it was a woman's voice yelling for the young boy. Sasuke turned to address the cave dwellers. There were multiple groups of people filling the cave. Each person was dirty, pale, and malnourished. Men, women, children, it shook her to the core. These were the strays from the village? Mom! The boy Kaito tried to stand before Sasuke placed her blade in his way. Gasps rang from within the group, wondering if she'd actually killed the child. I recognize you from the list. Toma of Kirigakure, you were a Chunin. You ran off just as the war broke out. Sasuke flatly accused the shaken man before her. He shared his son's hair and eye color, and he kept a shaky arm around a frightened woman. You're a bounty hunter? You Toma felt dread fill him. There were close calls in the past, they couldn't all just abandon the village without consequences. However, the girl in front of him was on another level. Just by feeling her chakra, he knew they stood no chance. His family, the other families, they would all be killed here. The Mizukage wants you dead or alive. I'm assuming some of the men and women behind you are also deserters. Sasuke knew they had to be. The children are very young. She noted with a frown as one woman was cradling a crying baby. Just don't hurt the children, I'm begging you. For a rogue shinobi to plead like that, he truly cared for his family. Hearing the sniffling from the child behind her, Sasuke was reminded of her own silent crying at night at their age. Withdrawing the blade, she let the boy run forward into his parents' arms. The mother pulled him close and ran her soothing hands through his dirty hair. She told him it would be all right. She told him that she was proud of him. It was like she was preparing to die. We will come with you, we know what awaits us. They couldn't put up a fight. Not with the children exposed and against an opponent like this. Why abandon your village? Sasuke felt compelled to ask. The older shinobi shuffled around, looking at each other uneasily. Toma eventually spoke, his eyes tired and body weary. We had families. Children being born and responsibilities outside of being a shinobi. The war, it wasn't ours. We wanted no part in that mess. Kirigakure wasn't the cause, it was that man that we've all heard about. Toma spit out with disgust. Why should we leave our children behind and die on the battlefield? We'd be leaving them alone in a village that still hasn't recovered from our last Kage's reign. His words contained no lies. They were the worries of a concerned father. We've seen all the casualties from the war, we would have been another body on the pile. The woman holding her baby spoke with a cracked voice. Sasuke's Sharingan deactivated, she simply stood and watched the large group. If this happened before she was woken up and pulled from the darkness, the outcome would be different. She didn't care about anybody but herself in the past. Now, she was infected by Naruto's will. Why didn't you leave this area sooner? She questioned them. Where would we go? We have no funds to hire a ship captain, and our children can't make the journey on foot. Stealing isn't exactly easy when we'd be killed if we were caught. We would be hunted down for the rest of our lives, so we retreated into these caves. I suppose none of that matters anymore. He gave a sad smile down to his son. Can you promise us one thing? The woman holding her baby already had tears streaming down her face. Promise us that you'll ask the Mizukage to take in our children. Don't let them die out here. This isn't their fault. Her cloudy eyes bored deeply into Sasuke. These shinobi were genin and chunin at most. They were giving up this easily, all for their children's safety. No, I won't take them. Sasuke started to say, making the parents clutch their children tighter, fearing for their future. You'll be taking them. Far away from here. I don't care where you go, just get out of here. Silence permeated through the cave, the shinobi were stunned at her words. We have nothing, barely the clothes on our back and weapons. We can't afford. A large pouch was thrown in the middle of the group, putting some on edge. That's more than enough for multiple passages out of Mizu no Kuni. Sasuke eyed the blue-haired child she had in her hold only minutes ago. Take them. Never come back here. Why? You're obviously here on the Mizukage's orders. We are rogue shinobi, why? Toma couldn't believe what was happening, although his beating heart hoped this wasn't a trick. I don't follow anybody's orders. Sasuke faced the entrance of the cave that she blew open. Turning her head to the side, she addressed the group one final time. They know your general location. Leave during nightfall. With those parting words, her footsteps were the only noises heard throughout the cave. Would you have done the same thing, Itachi? You're back already? Mei tilted her head at Sasuke as she entered her office once again. Naruto sat at her side looking over some scrolls, but once he saw Sasuke his eyes lit up. It was only half a day that he went without seeing her, yet he got excited. There were no rogue shinobi in that area. I searched the entire forest extensively. You should make sure your shinobi obtain better intel next time. Her dig at the Mizukage made the woman narrow her eyes. I was under the impression that their intel was correct. Mei eyed her suspiciously. They kept their eyes locked in an intense staring contest before Mei broke it with a sigh. Oh well, it can't be helped. You can continue your search tomorrow morning. Understood. You can wait outside for Naruto-kun to finish up, it shouldn't be too long. Sasuke hated the way Mei trailed her fingers along Naruto's bandaged arm. Of course, the idiot thought nothing of it. Giving Naruto a glance, she silently left the room to sit in the extravagant hallway. Her eyes began to slowly close and her head dipped down a little into her cloak. Her body still needed rest from the alcohol incident. She wasn't really sure how much time had passed since her little nap in the hallway of the Mizukage's estate, but when she looked up, all she saw was Naruto's warm smile. Sorry it took a little longer than expected. He rubbed his neck apologetically. You must have had a nice nap though. Naruto chuckled while looking at her half-lidded eyes. Whatever. Sasuke stood and stretched her body. Naruto continued to watch her with that bright smile. What? I don't know, I just feel proud of you. Naruto admitted while averting his eyes. Shut up, loser. She was proud of him as well, but she wouldn't tell him. His stupid ego would get even bigger. Naruto's infectious laughter filled the hall, and she couldn't help but join him. 1 month. 1 miserable month in Kirigakure. Sasuke did not enjoy the damp village in the slightest. She hated to admit that the village she preferred the most, on the basis of weather, was the one that caused her a lifetime of pain. Uchiha-san, you're back already? 2 Chunin sat at the back entrance to the village, not unlike the duo from Konohagakure. Seeing the dark-haired shinobi stroll up to their post originally invoked a sense of fear in them. After weeks of witnessing a long purple skeletal arm holding unconscious bodies, or being thrown scrolls, it was becoming a part of their daily routines. They even had bets going on for how long it would take her to capture the rogue shinobi. Yes. Her short answer was pretty normal too, she didn't talk much in their experience. Great. The Chunin who spoke certainly seemed happy. Unknown to Sasuke, he just won a decent amount of money. Is he alive? She'd get her payment either way, but the Mizukage definitely preferred to have them interrogated. Probably. From under her long cloak, it was hard to tell that she shrugged carelessly. Her Susanoo disappeared in the blink of an eye, and the Jonin-ranked shinobi dropped pathetically to the ground. Sasuke was always annoyed with how much these two stuttered or jumbled their words around her. Good job. The shinobi who congratulated her appeared young, he couldn't have been more than 15. He progressed in the ranks quickly despite his age. The paper. Sasuke reached a hand out with purpose. She needed them to sign off on the capture in order to get her payment. While atonement was her goal, she wasn't doing Kirigakure's dirty work for free. Oh, of course. Hastily, the young boy scribbled a few lines on the parchment and held it nervously to Sasuke. She retrieved the paper and turned away in the same breath, leaving the gate watchers to gaze at her back. It seems like someone has a little crush. The older Chunin teased his younger counterpart. No way. She's older and completely out of my league. He shouted in response, making his partner chuckle. That's the wrong mentality to have. Don't worry, you'll mature eventually and maybe she'll give you a chance. Nudging the boy as he went to collect the body, his comrade continued to watch the last Uchiha disappear into the crowds. Neither shinobi would ever know how wrong those words were. She'd never give him a chance. No clan could love more than the Uchiha, and once an Uchiha set their eyes on an individual, they'd stop at nothing to obtain them. Naruto-kun, I must admit, you are one of the funniest individuals I've had the privilege of speaking with. Mei kept her hands under her chin while staring at the man she took under her wing for the month. He far surpassed her in battle, but when it came to maintaining a village, he had much to learn. It wasn't even a joke. I seriously put graffiti on the Hokage's faces. Naruto recalled one of the biggest pranks from his youth. Mei's long hair swayed as she shook her head in disbelief. For someone aspiring to take the position, that is highly disrespectful. Yet I am amazed that a child could pull something like that off. Leaning closer, her cleavage did its best to draw his attention. It failed. In broad daylight too. His triumphant grin only caused her to giggle and lean back in her chair. They were done for the day of reading over heaps of paperwork. It was boring and terrible busy work, but she wanted him to be prepared for the future. She greatly enjoyed defining some of the more sophisticated words for the young man seated across from her. It amused her. You are whatever she was going to say to continue their discussion on his childhood was cut off by her office's door opening. No knock, no asking for permission to enter, the person merely walked in like they owned the place. Mission complete, Sasuke informed the busted Kage flatly. Naruto's bright eyes instantly swapped targets. The second she entered the room, he couldn't keep his gaze off of her. It's quite funny how they are enamored with each other, but neither are able to come out and say it. Mei had no luck finding her own man. That didn't mean she was clueless when it came to matters of the heart. Alive, right? Naruto aimed that question at Sasuke, getting her to groan quietly. For the most part. That's my girl. Naruto's prideful exclamation made the Uchiha's nose twitch and her cheeks heat up. While I may not care much for her, she is a fellow woman and I should help her out, Mei thought to herself. Her dislike for Sasuke came from their small battle during the 5 Kage summit. Consumed in darkness, the girl should have been executed for attacking such high-profiled individuals. Her involvement with the war and the plea from Naruto and Kakashi changed their minds. Seeing her efforts to change herself for the better, Mei did her best to put aside her negative feelings. My payment. Mei blinked a few times before looking at the slip of paper that Sasuke dropped on her desk. The action was both rude and expected. Truthfully, there wasn't much she could do to Sasuke even if she wanted to. Mei fought Madara in the past, and she wasn't eager to fight someone like Sasuke, who exceeded him now. Sasuke narrowed her eyes at the playfully humming Mizukage. Is that the correct way to ask for anything from a Kage? It's a way to ask for something from Mei. Naruto appeared behind the girl and pressed his hand to her mouth, stopping her from insulting Mei. From an amazing Kage. Naruto finished with a shaky grin. Sasuke felt his body press against her back tightly, and that was the only reason she didn't bite at the appendage blocking her from speaking. Naruto-kun, you continued to flatter me. You're going to make a girl very happy someday, maybe even me. If Sasuke could have it her way, Mei would already be consumed by her Amaterasu. Haha? Naruto awkwardly laughed before releasing Sasuke from his clutches. He shoved the thoughts away that pertained to how soft her lips felt. I preferred when you would mentally discuss the pink-haired medic and the flower girl's bodies. Kurama wished the link between the two was weaker whenever Naruto thought of Sasuke, which was far too often for the Kyuubi. I did not think about Sakura-chan's or Ino's body. Naruto defended himself weakly. I've watched over you since you were a baby. I know everything. Everything. That damn jutsu, I suffered through it all. Naruto didn't need to ask Kurama to elaborate. He knew what jutsu his partner was referring to. One that required extensive research and practice over the span of years. The Oiroku no Jutsu. Naruto made turning into a beautiful woman an art form. Naruto-kun? Are you still with us or has my beauty left you stunned? Mei's plump lips pulled up into a smirk when Sasuke's glare amplified. Huh. Sorry, I was talking with Kurama. Naruto told the Kage with a sheepish expression. Oh, the Kyuubi Mei would never get used to the mass of chakra having a name. Anyway, I asked if you would distribute the payment to your teammate from the village's funds. What she was suggesting for him to do left him shocked. For a Kage to allow a shinobi from outside their village access to its funds, it was unheard of. Don't give me that look. You've been with me for a month now and I know how trustworthy you are. This is another way to prepare you for doing this when you're Hokage. Mei explained it to him calmly. Wow, Naruto would never be used to people actually believing in his chances of becoming Hokage. Thanks, Mei-chan. His way of addressing her made her giggle. Oh, Naruto-kun, get going before I make you melt. I'll make you melt. Sasuke was one jutsu away from depriving Kirigakure of a leader. Watching the two leave her office, with Sasuke being forced into moving by Naruto, Mei contemplated how to help the two. Mostly for Naruto's sake, but she couldn't deny how hilarious it would be to see an embarrassed Uchiha. The next day Naruto was a little confused on why he couldn't continue working with Mei. Her explanation wasn't exactly a good one, though she reassured him that they will continue during the week. It's not like he could complain. Free training from a Kage would have given him a heart attack as a kid. It wasn't bad to have a day off, as he got more time to spend with his favorite person. Leave me alone. I'm trying to focus. Naruto huffed and sat cross-legged in front of Sasuke. The Uchiha was practicing using one-handed seals again. It was definitely not an easy task, but she was committed. I bet I'd be able to get that down in less than a week. Naruto tried to rile the girl up. He certainly matured after the war, although he often disregarded that maturity when with Sasuke. Humph. You use like 3 jutsu. Her face displayed arrogance, something that she knew angered Naruto from their youth. I have an entire arsenal compared to your pitiful techniques. Sasuke's maturity also disappeared around him. If I recall correctly, he lifted up his bandaged arm. I won our last fight. You, Sasuke breathed in deeply, knowing that he was doing this on purpose. You still only used 3 jutsu. You're not counting the best one. Naruto crossed his arms across his chest, looking extremely smug. Turning into a naked woman or man isn't impressive. It's stupid. It worked on Kaguya. Sasuke hung her head in defeat at that point. The old rabbit goddess really was affected by naked men. Before they could continue their conversation, a small shroud of mist appeared before them and a figure remained when it dissipated. Sasuke-san, Mizuki-sama requires your attention in her office. The voice belonged to someone that neither shinobi knew particularly well. Sasuke regarded him with an unimpressed stare. Chojuro looked the same to her, weak and nerdy with an oversized sword. For what? Her dismissive tone and question were expected by the blue-haired swordsman. Mei expressed her distaste for the girl's personality many times. A mission request. I also need to borrow Naruto-san here for something. Chojuro gave the blonde a smile. He respected his strength and character greatly. No problem. Naruto patted Sasuke on the knee before standing with a grin. Chojuro could have sworn he saw the Uchiha smile for a moment. Fine. Sasuke couldn't wait to get out of Kirigakure. Mei and her dumb cleavage got on her nerves. I'll see you later, Sasuke-chan. Naruto nudged her with his arm before following Chojuro. That idiot calling me that in front of people. She blamed the kid from Sunagakure for starting this and Sakura. She'd always blame Sakura. Making her way to the office, she realized that navigating the village was actually a challenge. It had nothing to do with her abilities, but rather it was due to how overpopulated the area was. Naruto mentioned that they were planning on modernizing the village, whatever that meant. She did wonder what it would be like if this so-called modernization reached Konoha. If I ever return, Sasuke walked into the office with a frown on her face. She wasn't sure how things would play out in the future. Would it kill you to smile? Mei interrupted her thoughts with her usual teasing voice. Sasuke bit her tongue, holding herself back from insulting the woman. When I take a good look at you, beneath those bangs there is a pretty face. I told you before, the Uchiha clan members were always quite attractive. Mei noted that Sasuke's face soured at the mention of her family. What do you want? Cold and straight to the point. Mei wondered how someone like Naruto could put up with her. He must really love her. As Mizukage, she knew a fair amount of the gossip going on in her village. Shinobi girls young and old would constantly talk about Naruto. His abilities, attitude, and appearance earned him many admirers after the war. He could pick any girl, from any village if he wanted to. If she were a few years younger, she knew she'd be pursuing him relentlessly. Yet he chose Sasuke. The complete opposite of him in every way. I'm arranging a little date for you. Mei wasted no time in telling her. Is this a joke? If that was the mission, Sasuke would tell her to get lost. Not at all. You see, you're a young woman who needs to learn how to loosen up and relax. For the past month you've only taken missions to capture rogue shinobi. No matter how strong you are, you need a break. Sasuke stared at Mei and her seductive smile for what felt like an hour. She couldn't understand this woman. I am not going on a date with a random person. If that's a mission request, I refuse. Mei giggled at the confused Uchiha. Oh, Naruto-kun will be so disappointed. I arranged a nice private room in a restaurant for 2. What a shame. I'm sure one of my shinobi would kill for an opportunity to spend a night with him. Putting a finger to her chin, Mei looked up at the ceiling innocently. I even heard one woman say she would love to show Naruto-kun how wet her Suiton ninjutsu could become. Sasuke clenched her only fist tightly. She knew this shouldn't get to her. She wasn't a jealous child, she was a shinobi. But there's no way in hell I'd let that moron get taken advantage of by some Kirigakure slut. Actually, I have a nice dress for such an occasion. I'll go. Sasuke put a stop to Mei's teasing. Perfect. I will be the one to get you ready for the evening. The Mizukage looked the girl up and down. A cloak and that messy hair won't do for a date. I hate the Mizukage. Sasuke stared at the body-length mirror in disbelief. The person looking back at her was almost unidentifiable. Makeup a dress she felt numb. Her lipstick's color was comparable to her deadly Sharingan. Her hair was styled similarly to how she had it in her youth, with her Rinnegan finally being uncovered for the world to see. Dressed in a very form-fitting sleek black dress, Sasuke felt her hidden insecurities swell. Her arm was exposed completely. There were no sleeves on the dress that Mei forced her into. She couldn't hide the missing appendage. Now I can certainly say you Uchiha have been gifted with good genetics, Mei commented from behind her, staring at a very specific part of Sasuke's body. Turning around to face the woman, Sasuke scowled. She did not appreciate another woman talking about her ass. I regret agreeing to this. A part of her truly did, and the other part was strangely excited. You shouldn't. Chojuro told me Naruto-kun only took a little convincing to agree. You don't want to disappoint the man you love, right? The upfront way in which Mei said that left Sasuke frozen. What? Oh, please. I've been trying to get a man of my own for years. You think I don't know what two people in love look like? I'm no fool. Mei waved her hand dismissively. Seeing as Sasuke sealed her own mouth shut, Mei continued. You've helped my village out greatly in the past month, and Naruto is learning at an alarming rate. You both deserve a break, and since you both are so close, going out for dinner shouldn't be a problem. Don't get me wrong, we aren't friends, but seeing a woman in need of help inspired me to set this up. Sasuke's scowl dropped at Mei's explanation. She didn't deserve this treatment from the Kage. Naruto did, considering his efforts to unite all shinobi, but not her. There was also one problem. This dress reveals my missing arm, Sasuke reluctantly told her. So? Mei's casual response startled her. Plenty of shinobi lose limbs. You aren't the first, and you certainly won't be the last. Does he care about your arm? No, she knew that Naruto believed she was the prettiest girl he's ever seen. Her blush made Mei laugh. Then I wouldn't worry about it. He doesn't seem to be the type to care about appearances anyway. I've shoved my cleavage in his face more times than I could count, and I never got a reaction. Mei's eyes met with a uniquely shaped Sharingan. I hate you. Hush. Unless I have a moody face and dangerous eyes, Naruto wouldn't give me the time of day. Mei's statement was definitely true. Whatever. There's that Uchiha charm. Sasuke glared at the back of Mei's head as they walked to the doorway of the dressing room contained within the Mizuki's personal home. You both have a reservation under my name. It's a lovely and romantic restaurant, so please try to enjoy yourself. I'd hate to see Naruto's cute face become sad because of his boring date. I'm really going on a date with him. Sasuke couldn't get over it. Even as Mei gave her directions to the restaurant, she continued to think about being with him. After everything that's happened in her life, she never would have expected to do this with Naruto. She tried to kill him multiple times, and here she was, about to sit with him and have dinner. They've ate together before, obviously, but this was different. This was romantic, and Sasuke had no idea what to do on a date. Naruto definitely doesn't either, he's probably never kissed a girl. Besides me. I was right. Seeing an embarrassed Uchiha is definitely amusing. If Sasuke had a list of females that she detested, Mei certainly made her top 5. Now get going. If you continue to hesitate, I'll take that dress right off of you and go myself. I'm sure Naruto-kun would love to see me in something that tight. Mei's threat earned her another Sharingan-enhanced glare. Top 3. She's definitely top 3. Why'd I agree to this? I've never been on a date. Naruto sat at a very expensive table in a private room of Kirigakure's most lavish restaurant. Within the seal, a large fox was lounging peacefully as Naruto panicked. It was a different experience for Kurama to see Naruto worrying about something so trivial. The past years consisted of the boy training, fighting, and experiencing pain. Now his biggest battle was a simple date with Sasuke. Kurama? Why are there 2 different types of spoons? Are you supposed to hold both at the same time? Naruto hoped his partner could provide an answer. I don't need to eat. How would I know about stupid spoons? You're right, I'm screwed, aren't I? I don't know what to do. Naruto pulled on the tie that Chojuro forced him to wear. The Mizuki apparently planned the whole date out herself. While he was initially reluctant, Chojuro's suggestion of a random shinobi going to dinner with Sasuke convinced him. No matter how unrealistic that may be, he wouldn't risk it. And you think Sasuke knows? Face it, you're both hopeless. Naruto wasn't scared when staring down Obito and Madara. A date with Sasuke? Now that terrified him. A date should be between 2 people who like each other. Does Sasuke like me? Naruto pondered in his thoughts. Kushina was a fool in most circumstances, but she was never this dense. Kurama blew out a tired sigh. Huh? What do you mean? I mean you're in dash. Idiot? A voice addressed him, and Naruto instantly locked eyes with the source. Sasuke? He felt his mouth become dry as he gazed at the dressed-up Uchiha. I asked if you were alright. You're pale. Sasuke stood at the entrance of the room, and her form was bathed in bright light. Naruto wasn't often rendered speechless. That changed when seeing Sasuke in her current attire. He always admired her appearance, she knew that. This time though. Stop looking at me like that. Sasuke felt naked under his gaze. It was a different feeling for her. You look nice. That was her best compliment. She had no idea what she was doing. She did mean it, as Naruto was wearing an expensive black suit that fit him perfectly. The lean yet muscled body that he built up from his training and battles appealed to her greatly. Her favorite part of Naruto was still his stupid, dumb, and annoying face. You too. Naruto stood awkwardly from his seat to approach his teammate. He briefly noticed her missing arm was uncovered. She really is beautiful. Thanks. Sasuke considered herself a master when it came to having a poker face. Most Uchiha had one from birth. Unfortunately, that was failing her as she was doing her best to keep her gaze off Naruto. Damn you, Mizuki. Thank you, Mei-chan. Kill me. I guess we should sit down. Naruto offered his suggestion pitifully, gesturing to the expertly set table. The room was equipped with soft playing music, large candles, a hanging chandelier, and plenty of flowers. Yeah. Sasuke felt like something was stuck in her throat when she approached the table. Naruto fought an internal battle within himself as he debated on pulling her chair out for her. Pervy Sage always mentioned one thing about first dates to him. If you pull the chair out, she might put out. Wait, I got it. Naruto stopped his date by grabbing her chair suddenly. Okay? She suddenly found the tiled floor interesting. The ear-piercing screech of a chair being pulled back added to the awkwardness. Smooth. Kurama, shush. Naruto felt his face burn while holding onto the chair tightly. He finally spoke to Sasuke after a tense 15 seconds of silence. You can sit, and I'll push it back in. Sasuke sat daintily on the chair, almost like she was afraid of breaking it. Naruto's fingers brushed against her bare shoulder, and she had to bite the inside of her cheek. Easily pushing the chair towards the table, Naruto secretly nodded to himself. I did it. Pervy Sage not so sure about what she's going to put out though. Walking back to his own seat, Naruto seated himself with a nervous smile. More silence ensued between the two. So. Yeah. They fought in a war together. They almost died together. There was no reason why this should be equally as hard. I've been getting better at sorting through paperwork recently. It's not fun at all, but it's necessary. Naruto took the initiative and spoke first. Sasuke mentally thanked him for doing so. That's good. You probably never realized how much paperwork these Kage have to go through. Sasuke kept her eyes directly on his. It eased her anxiety. I never even thought about it. Naruto admitted with no shame. Kakashi-sensei mentioned that I can become a jonin after my studying is complete. This training will definitely help with that. You should have been promoted a long time ago. Sasuke didn't personally care about her shinobi status. I was so busy with things, you know? I never got around to it. He scratched at his cheek thoughtfully and Sasuke felt herself relax. A gesture like that meant Naruto was becoming comfortable, and that was all she needed to feel the same way. You better get promoted eventually. I hate hearing Sakuramaku. Naruto laughed at her annoyed face. Kakashi-sensei will promote you too when we go home. Sasuke said nothing in return. She'd rather not talk about returning to the village. Naruto wasn't deterred by her silence, he knew how she was. Hey Naruto. She softly called out to him, staring across the candlelit table. Why'd you agree to this? It was eating away at her ever since the Mizuki brought it up. Oh. Well, Naruto did his best to avoid her gaze. I figured we needed to have some time off. Chojuro is a really persuasive guy too. Unsatisfied with his answer, she planned to pry more before the door opened. A waiter entered slowly. From his body language alone, Sasuke could tell he was skittish. Hello? The man squeaked out. Serving two shinobi that could literally tear him to pieces wasn't easy for a civilian. I hope you're pleased with the room that Mizuki-sama set up. He gave a weak bow in their direction. We are. It's an amazing room. I smelled some of the food while walking back here and I can't wait to eat. Naruto gave the waiter his best smile, easing the man's nerves somewhat. I'm happy to hear that the waiter didn't dare look into the predator-like eyes of Sasuke for long. He felt that she was evaluating him with her stare. Here is the menu. His hands shook when Sasuke pulled it softly from his grip. The poor waiter couldn't handle her serious visage. He wondered how her date could handle such an expression. Can we order alcohol? Naruto's smile began to widen when their server nodded slowly. The Mizukage did mention that they could try Kirigaku's finest wine. No. We will have 2 glasses of water. Sasuke dared Naruto to challenge her. Naruto may not know the definition of giving up, but he relented when remembering how their last time drinking went. Sure, water is good. Sasuke smirked, pleased with his decision. The waiter gulped deeply. He wasn't paid enough for this. Be perfect. Please take your time and read over the menu. I'll return shortly with your drinks. Naruto never saw a waiter leave that quickly. Seems like a nice guy. Naruto chuckled at Sasuke's unimpressed noise. He perked up when he remembered he had to ask her something as well. Sasuke? Why did you agree to this? He mimicked her previous question. Sasuke pondered how to respond before leaning forward towards the table. She wet her red-colored lips with her tongue, an action that made Naruto embarrassed, and answered. It was either me or some Kiri woman. The words whore and bitch came to her mind. She knew her mother wouldn't be happy with her crude language. It was unbecoming of an Uchiha, though she felt she wasn't wrong to classify those girls as such. Is that all? Naruto hid his slightly hurt expression well. That was her only reason. Good. Kurama's input was unappreciated. Sasuke's been watching Naruto from when they were kids. She'd pretend to ignore him as a way to anger him, but her eyes always drifted to his expressive face. She easily picked up on his disappointment. Listen, idiot, I don't mind going out with you or anything. All right? Naruto practically lit up at her whispered words. I don't mind going out with you either. Sasuke reasoned that the burning feeling in her cheeks was due to her close proximity to a candle. Fighting the 5 Kage while pushing her body and Sharingan to exhaustion and blindness? Easy. Getting stabbed with her own sword by her clansman who was supposed to be dead long ago. That almost killed her, but it was manageable. Trying to cut into a large piece of steak with only one hand and trying not to look like a fool. Impossible. Sasuke was not prepared for the little struggles that came with missing an appendage. Flipping the pages of a book, dressing herself, and apparently cutting meat. Glaring down at the offensive piece of beef, she refused to be defeated by food of all things. Let me do it. When Naruto reached across the table to grab her plate, she felt anger boil up within her. She wasn't a helpless child who couldn't take care of herself. She didn't need his help with such simple things like pulling a chair out or handling her food. Opening her mouth to voice her displeasure, Naruto beat her to it. I'm happy I can do this for you, Sasuke. You don't need to do everything on your own. Her anger subsided instantly. Those words reminded her of Itachi's last conversation with Naruto during the war. He warned her idiot to not do everything on his own. A lesson that Naruto took to heart. Fine. Sasuke watched him easily cut through the steak with little issue. She mumbled something incoherent under her breath and Naruto stopped cutting the food until she spoke up. Cut it into smaller pieces. I'm not trying to choke or chew on it endlessly. She couldn't hide her blush, it wasn't physically possible. Naruto chuckled and did as she asked. Neither shinobi realized that the awkward atmosphere was disappearing completely. There you go. Naruto placed the plate in front of his embarrassed teammate. Giving a soft thank you in gratitude, Sasuke decided to begin eating. They ate slowly, and Naruto made sure to fit conversation in between their bites. Some of the stories he shared left her amazed. Naruto experienced a lot more than he let on. You really were sent into a different world by Obito? Sasuke questioned him in disbelief. This story seemed ridiculous. It was just a genjutsu. The world was the same as ours but people acted differently, and some things never happened. I went with Sakura-chan actually. Naruto wondered why the pink-haired medic never brought that back up. Sakura. Sasuke muttered the name before dismissing her. Did you see me in this fake world? The second his face gained a tint of red, she needed to press for an answer. Maybe. No. Tell me. Sharingan spinning slowly, she tried to intimidate him. That doesn't work on me, you know. Naruto, did you see me in Obito's fake world? Sasuke wondered if she left the village there as well. Yes. You were still around. Naruto's response was given slowly, irritating his date. He knew she wouldn't budge, so he needed to come clean or she'd be annoyed all night. And you said some people acted differently? How did I act? That's Stop rubbing the back of your head. I know you do that when you're nervous. Dropping his hand from the exact spot Sasuke called out, he blamed himself for getting into this situation. There were many stories he avoided telling Sasuke, for good reason. You wouldn't leave me alone. You brought flowers to my house and got into a bunch of fights with Hinata. His smile was strained. Flowers. I brought you flowers. Naruto would never stop surprising her. You were a lot nicer to Sakura too. You called her your wingwoman. Naruto couldn't forget the extremely flirty Sasuke. Now I know it was definitely fake. Why was I fighting Hinata? Hinata, the girl she interacted with maybe 2 or 3 times in her entire life. One of those conversations consisted of her telling the girl shut up, and that was it. I'm really not sure. Maybe it was a girl thing. It's definitely a girl thing. Sasuke's scowl returned. Even in a fake world, they disliked each other. She never expected that shy and gloomy girl to have a backbone, especially when Hinata stared at her with such hatred after the war. Just like that, you killed the mood. Remember when you hated me and wouldn't speak? Good times. Naruto darted his eyes around the room in an effort to find a distraction, or a way to change topics. Soft and slow music played from a small speaker situated by the door. There was his distraction. Naruto was by no means a dancer. However, Jiraiya attempted to teach him some skills that he referred to as lady killers. During his youth he barely paid attention to the lessons involving girls. He regretted it now. Standing up, he channeled every bit of confidence he had in his body for what he was about to ask. Do you want to dance? The priceless expression on Sasuke's face would forever be engraved in his memory. You want to dance? She was completely right, he never stopped surprising her. Sasuke knew she would make a fool of herself if she agreed. She was a shinobi, not a dancer. This is a date, and even I know people dance together on dates. He was right. This was a date. She was on a date with a complete loser that she couldn't stop thinking about. She went on a date with him before Sakura, before Hinata, before any other worthless woman could sink their claws into him. Sure. The grin he sent her way made her fall deeper in love without realizing it. Accepting his larger hand into her own, he pulled her up. The dining room was small, but there was some room between the table and door for them to dance. I've never danced before. I can use my Sharingan to copy his movements. Her thoughts were preoccupied and Naruto quickly noticed her pensive expression. I suck at dancing. Pervy sage